Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Welcome on in. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Monday, December 29th, 2025. Soon to be 2026. In just about a couple of days here. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. Still sort of ongoing in that little in-between period, December 25th to January 1st, where nobody has any idea what the hell's going on. But what we do know is going on is get a good Week 17 of NFL football. It's closed out tonight with Rams and Falcons. You had a great Sunday night football game between the Bears and the Niners. You had a great, I guess, 425 Fox slot with the Bills and the Eagles. So you had some good stuff yesterday to get into. And you also have college football playoff games starting in 2 days with that Miami-Ohio State game, which is going to be the Christmas Eve of the bunch. You got a triple header, starting of which in Miami at the Orange Bowl between Oregon and Texas Tech. That is the first game, noon on January 1st. So stay tuned for that. We'll be live on site doing local programming from 9 to 11 there on site at the Orange Bowl. So stay tuned for that. We got Christian Cat behind the glass. Colin Russo here, no Mike Rizzo today. It's Russo and Rizzo streaming live in all those great places. You can watch us, listen to us on your radio dial, ESPN 106.3, and YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter /X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Christian Cat is a Raven fan, and one of the two games that we have this coming week, next week in Week 18, which, by the way, in my opinion, to make it go grand scope before we get into the Steeler game, they're never going to do it. The NFL would benefit if they went back to 16 games. They would benefit. Why do I say that? Because there's too much opportunity for teams to pull ahead. We knew our playoff bunch, other than these two AFC and NFC North and South, respectively, divisions. We knew that was going to be a win and in, and people have problems with how they do that anyway. People have problems with the fact that the Carolina Panthers could host the 13-win Rams, potentially, just as people have a problem with the 12 or 13-win Bill team, going to the Steelers, who could have 9 wins or 10 wins. So, that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is we knew 6 of the 7 teams in each conference locked in by the end of Week 16. That, to me, was inherently a problem because I think there was a lot of bad teams and a lot of good teams because of that. And when you have 17 games, you can't sit here and tell me when there's 3 total games on next week's schedule. There's 3. There is the number 1 seed game between the Niners and the Seahawks, and there are the 2 win-and-in games between the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which we saw 2 weeks ago. And then you have the Steelers and the Ravens, which is going to be Sunday Night Football. Outside of that, it is nothing. Nothing. So we got 3 games, and the rest of the lineup sort of stinks, and half these teams are not going to play their starters. And then this past week, you had a bunch of games that didn't have a lot of meaning outside of, the Texan-Charger game. The Packers already clinched, so they went in that game sort of on one leg. The Ravens needed the game. Packers didn't need it. They already clinched. They're going to be the 7th seed regardless of the fact. And then outside of that is the Bills didn't need the game yesterday. They made something for seeding, which teams traditionally don't really care about, the 5 through 7 and where they play a road game. And the Eagles, on the other hand, they're pretty much lockstepped into the 3 seed. It wasn't that meaningful in terms of implication outside. The Bear game mattered a little bit, but outside of implication. I'm not saying they should. They never will. But you can't sit here and tell me that this last week of the NFL season is not going to be a chore. It's going to be a chore. You have the 3 games you care about, and one of which is going to be the Steelers-Raven game on Sunday Night Football. You should check what's on Sunday outside of the Steelers-Ravens, Christian, because they gave ESPN the 2 good games with the Seahawks game and the Carolina game on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, and just Sunday Night Football matters. Outside of that, nothing else matters. So I don't know if I'm crazy there, but you can't tell me that this last week of the season is a chore at best. It's a chore.
You say it's chore. I think the NFL gave us a day back. Think about people that love football. It dominates their weekend schedule for half the year. But you know what? The NFL said, our Sunday Night Football game matters so much. Everything before that doesn't really. Maybe spend some time with your family.
Yeah. Go for a walk.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to play around in golf. I won't need to get a 7 a.m. tee time that day in order to actually get the round in. And for that, I'm appreciative, Roger Goodell. Question for you, Colin. Do you think the NFL got it right in terms of The highest priority is game number 272 on Sunday Night Football, last game of the regular season. They deemed the biggest game, the most important game, the most entertaining, the game that will get the most eyeballs, I guess, is the Steelers-Ravens game. Do you think that was the right move?
I do think that was the right move. I got into an argument with my father last night at 11:45 p.m., and we woke my mother up because I was arguing with him over the ethicality of not giving CBS and Fox a good 425 slated game comparatively to giving ESPN there's three good games this weekend. You want to talk about Denver and the Chargers, please? Chargers are not playing their starters, so forget that for a second. Outside of here, there are three good games, and the NFL has decisions to make on what to give to ESPN, what to give to CBS, what to give to Fox, and what to give to NBC in Sunday night slot. Number one, I do think they nailed the Sunday night game. There is a no-brainer that you have to do Steelers-Ravens. Steelers draw. It's a traditional market. Lamar Jackson, I don't think is going to play. Who knows? But that's a big game, marquee game, big coaches, enough of a storyline there. Should be entertaining. That's a no-brainer for the Sunday night game, in my opinion. I don't think they were, and you could see it in the Sunday Night Football halftime show last night because all they talked about was the Ravens and the Steelers. So you could tell that you knew that they were going to get the game. But what people had problems with, as in my father, which I disagree with, he said that the two ESPN games, which is, by the way, the first of which is going to be Carolina and Tampa Bay, 4:30 on Saturday, and the other game will be the one-seed game, Seattle and the Niners. They thought it was a bad move. He thought it was a bad move to give ESPN both games and to axe, like you said, axe Sunday afternoon and early Sunday afternoon with the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock slates. I actually thought this was a good thing in making right on the ESPN relationship because ESPN Monday night games have mostly stunk all year, and Amazon's had a good year, and NBC's had a good year with Sunday Night Football, and CBS and Fox we know are having good years. So because of that, I actually thought it was the right move, and I like the idea that they're capitalizing on standalone Saturday, one game after the next, both implicating, both really good, and then you leave it to Sunday to have your throwaway slots. So I actually think they nailed it, and I think it was the right move.
Paint the picture for me, this argument you had in the Russo abode where you're waking people up. I'm kind of confused to how this can get that active.
It started when we were waiting for the slate, and we were hypothesizing throughout the game.
Okay, on Sunday night or Monday
This
Night
is
Football,
during the game.
While they're talking about,
Mike Tirico says, post-game, stick around. We're going to come back with the schedule after this. We're hypothesizing. We were both under the impression that that the Steelers and the Ravens were going to be Sunday night. We both knew that. All right, fine. I thought that they were going to put Carolina and Tampa Bay on the Saturday night ESPN, and I thought that they were going to give Seattle and the 49ers the 425 slate to whatever, probably Fox, and they were going to do it that way. And I thought they were going to throw Denver and the Chargers in the 425 slate on Saturday, which is kind of a throwaway game because, see, this is the stuff that this is a big rabbit hole that you're going underneath right now because I'm big on the schedules. But if you put Denver and the Chargers at 425 on Saturday, then if Denver wins, Patriots don't need to play the game on Sunday against the Dolphins. NFL doesn't want that, right? They want those games to be played at the same time because they don't want one season's games worth to be finished before you get into the game, which is why that was tough. I thought that was going to be a sacrificial lamb game, and you're going to do it that way. So once that came out, my dad, who talks with all these play-by-play guys, right? He has a relationship with all the play-by-play guys of all these networks with the CBS and Fox and ESPN and everything like that. So I said, this is the right move. I like the fact that they're throwing ESPN a bone. That was my takeaway. I go to bed. It is dark. It is pitch dark. He sends me a text that he received from a nameless play-by-play man for one of the big networks who did not, CBS or Fox, who did not get a big game. And they were talking about why is ESPN getting two games, right? Why are they getting the two big games? Even Scott Van Pelt said at the SportsCenter, he's like, we got both those games? Thanks, NFL. So he sent that to me. And I said, well, they're making right in the ESPN relationship. ESPN's gotten bad Monday night games all year. They barely flexed anything to Monday Night Football. This is the right move. And then he comes into my room in the pitch dark. And I'm like, we had an argument in the dark for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then to the point where I turned on the light. And we're going back and forth. And he goes, CBS and Fox, you killed Sunday. And I go, well, you couldn't put anything on Saturday afternoon because whatever game you put on Saturday afternoon is going to implicate another game. You would have to put a game with two eliminated teams in order for that to matter. So you'd have to put Dallas and the Giants in Saturday 425 if you wanted that to make sense. And he thought that was a big problem. I thought on the other side, ESPN, Christian, let's think about it. Amazon's had a good year. Bills-Texans was a good game. They had the Seahawks-Rams game for Thursday night, which was an excellent game. They had Bears-Eagles, which was an excellent Black Friday game. I sat there and said, hey, this was the right move because they're throwing ESPN a bone when ESPN spends $2 billion in the NFL. And then it turned into this whole argument. And then around 12:10, we put a cap on it. I said, you're wrong. And we went our separate ways. And that was how that went. And then my mother texted us and said, please shut up. Please shut up. So that's how that went.
Okay.
And I was at around 12 o'clock arguing over TV contracts and making right on it.
I was thinking about like other holiday arguments that disgruntle everyone in the room, might have to do with politics, might have to do with policy. No. CBS, Fox got screwed.
CBS and Fox got, and you can make the argument, you know what? But CBS and Fox gets a good game every single week because they get the 425 games and the 405 games. Please. And CBS, by the way, and they were talking about, Seattle's getting screwed here because Seattle just came back cross country because they played in Carolina on Sunday. Now they got to go play a road game on Saturday, please. Because if they win the game, they get a bye. Or if they lose the game, they would give them the extra day and have them play Sunday of Wild Card Weekend. So that's why I can't listen to that. See, that's why you got to think like you're putting together the games. It's a whole strategy.
Now I'm thinking of who is the not the A-team broadcaster for Fox or CBS that the first person they thought to reach out to.
No Nance. I'll tell you that. It's no Nance. It's no Brady and Burkhardt. And it's no Buck and Aikman. So it's outside of that. I'll leave it up to you. It's guys who are getting the games.
I know definitely who it is. He does hockey too. Right?
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything. Nonetheless.
This father-son connection. You see, there's layers to this. That's not the first of his bloodline to be broadcast in sports, if I have the guess correct.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you in the break.
Bad for the listener. I'm sorry, guys.
I'll tell you if you're right. Do you think they nailed the scheduling? Do you think Steelers-Ravens is the right game to put on Sunday night? Or do you think they should have went with the fireworks and put 49ers-Seahawks?
I think for the mass appeal, I think it does. I think there is only one truly widely recognized rivalry in the NFL. Like it is Ravens-Steelers. I can't think of another one that has
Packers-Bears, but yes.
But that has been competitive.
Yeah.
That's a very abusive relationship until this year between the Packers and the Bears.
Right.
Like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre have owned that franchise since when I've watched football. Whereas you look at every number statistic, it's 50-50 between the Steelers and the Ravens. If it wasn't as 50-50 as it was, I think Tomlin and or Harbaugh would have been fired by now because of how important those games are, not only in terms of the old school football rivalry, but in terms of actually winning their own division. But I think that they have the mass appeal, but the game is not going to be very fun for a sports fan, to be honest. You take away all the meaning, and it's going to be a lot of ugly football, and that's even if Lamar Jackson does play, because what we've seen of Lamar Jackson has not been fireworks, rainbows, and sunshine. It's been a lot of stripped down Lamar Jackson football.
And you're a Ravens fan yourself.
Yeah.
You saw Snoop Huntley play a pretty competitive game, and Derrick Henry put on a first ballot Hall of Fame performance against the Packers, where they basically took care of business, and probably one of their better looking games of the entire year. And now you sit here and say, well, if Lamar doesn't play, you still got a Huntley, and you're probably still comfortable in that. They gave the ball to Derrick Henry 36 times. He had 200 yards rushing. He has one or two of those games a year. So you can make the argument, and a lot of people are in on the Ravens right now because they think the Ravens that not only have stolen this opportunity, but now they're probably playing better than the Steelers are.
It's crazy.
It's flipped on its head.
And that line is not going to move. I think the line right now, Ravens favored by 3 on the road, I think that's assuming that Lamar Jackson's not playing. As crazy as that sounds, the sports books will predict it before it's actually announced. I think Lamar Jackson is not in line to play Week 18 against the Steelers in a win or season over game, not just because of Lamar Jackson not physically able to play, but because maybe a 70% Lamar Jackson on the health meter is not as good as 100% Tyler Huntley. I think that is what the Ravens are looking at, and they gathered in the second half of the Patriots game and in the entirety of the Packers game.
Yeah, that's Derrick Henry's team. That's what it's got to be. That's got to be Derrick Henry's team through and through. He gets 40 touches a game until you say otherwise. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah, and the big reason why Lamar Jackson won 2 MVPs is because of how much you looked at that Ravens team and how reliant they appear to have been on Lamar Jackson. And that very well could have been true until last year. And last year, I think a big reason why Lamar Jackson didn't win the MVP and it went to Josh Allen instead is the exact converse argument where you add Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry had, for about half the season last year, looked like an MVP candidate too. And I'm thinking that the Ravens' reliance on Lamar Jackson has steadily declined through the past couple of years. And Derrick Henry's not going to live forever. Derrick Henry might have 2 more seasons where he's this good at that position, which is still Benjamin Buttoning to begin with, that he's good right now. But as a Baltimore Ravens fan who lives in Palm Beach County, who knows what Lamar Jackson did in Palm Beach County with Boynton Beach, that future of Lamar in Baltimore is not guaranteed to me.
So let me throw out this hypothetical. If they lose this game and they miss the postseason, do you think they're going to have to make a decision between Lamar and Harbaugh?
A head's got to roll, you're saying? That
yes.
Like someone's got to answer for it?
Something's got to change.
No, I don't think that's going to be the case.
You think win or lose, you'll see those two back?
I don't think one has to leave, win or lose.
Okay.
I think
Adam Schefter came on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, and he suggested that the loser of that game, whether it be Tomlin or Harbaugh, could leave and go take a TV job or coach elsewhere. He did say that. He hypothesized, but he suggested it.
Yeah, I think that the injury-riddled portion of the season where the Ravens looked like a JV high school football team against the Texans in that one game and a couple of other games didn't look very good. It was Cooper, what's his name? The guy who used to be the backup for the Cowboys started a game or two. Cooper Rush looked like garbage and really bad.
And then you get Snoop Huntley, who stunk everywhere else he plays, but for some reason he's some great operator within the Todd Monken offense. Go ahead.
I am drinking the Kool-Aid on not having to pay your quarterback premium money. And I know that it's taboo to think when you have this, not a bird in the hand, but yeah, this bald eagle in hand of Lamar Jackson, where a supreme talent at his position, but he does not have the Ravens under the thumb as you might have thought 2 years ago. That's what I would say on that. I think the Ravens can see formulating an offense without Lamar Jackson and still competing for the division and competing for the conference.
And there were some reports that came out the last couple of weeks that Lamar does have a standing within the building.
It's a maturity issue.
There were questions to his maturity, and there's questions to how the Ravens treat him versus other professionals, and whether it's fair or not, or whatever it might have been. So I understand it from that perspective. So I guess I wonder if I don't think they're ever going to make a move off of that, but whether something has run stale there. Right, especially, this is an okay season. See, the thing is, this could all change. If they beat the Steelers out on the road on Sunday, if they beat them, and they've already lost.
With who at quarterback?
Either or. If they beat them, then you sort of forget about all this. Because this was sort of a doomsday season. Defense didn't figure it out till week 7. And then all the injuries left and right. Lamar was never healthy, and you still got to the postseason. And not only that, you're going to have a favorable first-round matchup. If there is one team that has not figured out Lamar, and Lamar always plays well against, it's the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have not figured out Lamar. They played the playoffs 2 years ago. It's just what happens. So I think it's a favorable matchup, and that's if Lamar plays. I don't think you waltz in there unless it's that bad of an injury. You waltz in there with Snoop Huntley. But not only can they beat the Steelers, I think I'm starting to believe in the fact that they will, because I think the Steelers got bad juju the second that DK Metcalf tried to pull a fan out of the stands and assault him. And then all of a sudden he gets suspended the last 2 games of the year. You thought that if the Packers beat the Ravens on Saturday night, that the Steelers would clinch and you'd kind of forget about it, but leave it to the football gods to allow the Packers to lose big, make the Steelers play that game against Cleveland, which we haven't talked about yet with Shedeur Sanders, them dropping an absolute stinker, multiple opportunities. Myles Garrett saying post-game they're more interested in not letting me get the record comparatively than winning the football game. And they were terrible in the game. They lost that one. And now a winner-go-home game favoring the Ravens here without DK Metcalf, where the offense has shown absolutely nothing without him. Ooh. I don't know about that.
And to add the layer on, the final play of the game was a DK Metcalf designed fade thrown to the end zone with no DK Metcalf and instead you have MVS in as the Steelers on his sixth stop across the league, where he did not win his one-on-one, which DK Metcalf more often than not did. My heart skipped a beat. Again, a Ravens fan watching that game, you need the Browns to win against all odds. And that ball's in the air. MVS wins the route, but could not high point the football where DK Metcalf would have caught the ball.
That's it. So not only was that one of the more underrated big moves of the entire season, implicating terrible decisions that was made throughout the entire year, it was DK Metcalf and that fan. And whether you think DK, I don't know what was said, who knows? I don't know why DK is going to the fan in the stands to do anything to begin with, and now he's costing his team. And there's a chance that they miss the postseason now, and I would say exclusively because of this DK situation. They probably win one of the next two games with DK Metcalf. They probably won yesterday with DK Metcalf. And the fact that he got suspended 2 games at the end of the year, you know what? It serves the Steelers a little right for getting rid of player with off-field issues number 1 in George Pickens in favor of player with off-field issues number 2 in DK Metcalf and getting burned for the latter half, and the other one has a huge year. It almost serves you right. That's football gods through and through.
Yeah, they need a new position in Pittsburgh that is wide receiver psychologist, not team psychologist. They just need someone in that wide receiver room.
They need a break room, when you can go in with a bat and just break a bunch of vases and stuff like that. They need one of those.
But it's just such a weird phenomenon of teams' position always having issues. It's not just the team, but the wide receiver position for the Pittsburgh Steelers has always produced head cases or turned guys into head cases. It is an anomaly. I can't understand it.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. And I think it's going to burn them. I agree with you. I think the Ravens, I don't think that line's going to change. I think the Ravens are going to win. I think most of the money's going to be on the Ravens in that spot. And I'm glad it's Sunday Night Football. I'm glad it's the last game of the season because I think it's a big matchup. And weirdly enough, I think a lot of AFC teams are going to be watching that game thinking, all right, well, we play a Lamar-led Ravens. It's probably a little bit more fearsome than an Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh team. I think that's where we're at.
I mean, we've seen the Steelers' first-round exit like clockwork.
They haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Yeah.
So it's been 10 years, 9 years since they've won a playoff game under Tomlin. And this was with Roethlisberger. This is with Kenny Pickett. This is with Rudolph. This is with everybody.
This is when they had the Jaguars at home and lost that game, as you remember fondly.
45-42 final score. Who's keeping track? Jaguars are up 21-0 in that football game. That was Ed Hines Field. That was the down point of that Steeler team because they had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and Roethlisberger. Oof, terrible. Nonetheless, Ravens Steelers, huge game, Sunday Night Football. Do you like the fact, to finish this off, because I know we were talking about the TV schedule, you like the fact that Carolina, Tampa Bay, and then 49ers, Seattle are going to be the 2 Saturday games instead of anything on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going to be on a road trip up to Chicago during that weekend. So we have to figure out how
You're leaving on Saturday.
See, that's the question. Work on Friday. We're going to be at the SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens. Do I pull the trigger and go straight from work to home and then taking off and driving overnight? It's a 20-hour drive. Oh. 2 able-bodied drivers don't need to get a hotel room, so we're going to choose not to and get a day at home on Sunday. I am wondering if it makes sense to hit the road straight at 8 o'clock on Friday night and get home what would be at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
So let me get this straight. Are you just getting a car up there? Is that why you're driving it?
She's got the dogs with her, so we had to drive down.
Yeah,
so she drove down with the dogs, and we're driving back up with the dogs so she could spend the month here.
That's in... Okay, but you're bringing the dogs back because the semester's starting.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And I don't want
flying back.
I don't want the girlgirlfriend to drive her by herself for 20 hours, so I'm driving and flying back.
You're flying back what day? On Sunday?
Early Monday morning.
Early Monday morning. Okay. You can fly back on Sunday. There's no games.
Yeah, right. Good point. I'm going to be too tired after the drive, but I'm okay with the scheduling. That makes sense to me.
Take the early shift, and then all of a sudden you'll be ready to rock and roll. You have the game on at 4 o'clock when you're making your way through, Lowers T or Illinois, and you got 4 hours until Chicago.
Yeah, that drive is weird, by the way, and this matters to nobody but me, but you, weave through time zones when driving through Indiana up to Chicago. A road there, you will start in Central, go to Eastern, back to Central on one road. And it really confused me a lot the first time I did that. It's not just a crossover. Once you're in Central, you're in Central. No. You'll weave in and out.
And you got to just imagine that you're getting an hour back. That's the idea. You're getting an hour back when you're driving over there because you're losing an hour in Central Time. Nonetheless, Christian Cat, Colin Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We'll take a timeout. We got Jonathan Zazo joining a little later on the program. We also have the fifth quarter today from 6 to 7 p.m. We'll take you through your Monday Night Football best bets. We'll get into a bunch of other topics, including Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver at Ohio State, who's playing Miami this week in the Cotton Bowl on Christmas Eve night, was asked about the potential of, hey, well, if you knew, and he's a South Florida man himself out of Miami, and if he was asked, hey, well, Jeremiah, if you knew that Miami was going to be like this, would you have went to Ohio State? He has an interesting answer. We'll get into that next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Are you one of those people that just can't focus at home? The dog barks, the kids are screaming, and you're thinking, how am I going to get all of this work done? Working from home can be distracting, but Intelligent Office is here to help you focus. They offer quiet and affordable private office and meeting spaces in Palm Beach Gardens to help you get your work done. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to reserve an office today.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Long ago, the seas be whispering tales of the lost loot. A treasure so rare it shows itself but once each turn of the sun. All this searching, and I found it. Publix, this be where X marks the spot?
Discounted tickets, limited time.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Advance tickets can save you more than half, so get them before they vanish on January 15th.
Limited time deal.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Bodycall Sports Certified Marketplace, you got to understand, when you go to the gym and you want to start a New Year's resolution and you want to show up every single day and see real results, yes, showing up every day does help, but it's really about how you fuel your body. That's with supplementation and nutrition. That's where Bodycall Sports Certified Marketplace comes in. Whether you're prepping for a race like a triathlon, you're prepping for an Ironman, you're prepping for a marathon, you just want to put on weight and get more, increase your muscle mass, whatever it might be. Vitacost is your go-to for leveling up your game. This could be whether you're playing sports at a high school, collegiate, or professional level. Now, the best part about the Sports Survivor Marketplace, they got over 400 performance-enhancing supplements that are all certified, which means that you're free of any banned substances that help you take your game to the next step. Visit Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make your purchase today. That's Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make your purchase today. Use code ESPN20. That's ESPN20 for 20% off. Level up your game at Vitacost. Colin Russo and Christian Cat. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 on your radio dial, ESPN 106.3, and also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Jeremiah Smith, star receiver, in a lot of ways the best receiver in the country for Ohio State, who's taking on Miami this week, I should say, on New Year's Eve in the Cotton Bowl over in Dallas. Well, he's a Miami man himself. He was one of the top, I believe he was the top recruit in the country coming out of high school. And he is somebody who, in a lot of ways, had a lot of Miami, South Florida ties. And he went to Chaminade Madonna, who famously lost to Cardinal Newman in the state championships, which happened about 2-3 weeks ago. But nonetheless, when asked about the potential of, hey, Miami's kind of back. They weren't back 2-3 years ago when you were in high school looking at your college recruiting, but now they're back. So somebody asked Jeremiah Smith this in media availability this week, and here's what Jeremiah Smith had to say.
If Miami had won or played in games like this before you signed out of high school, would your decision may have been different?
Most likely, yeah. I'll probably end up going to Miami if, things was on the right track then and there. But, I chose to stick with Ohio State.
Wow. So he just goes straight up, I'd probably play for Miami.
Do you think does that hurt Miami fans? Or is that
I think that hurts Ohio State fans. It just goes to show, he didn't love Ohio State. He loved Miami. He loved where Ohio State could get him. That's where he liked.
Yeah, I think that's so optimistic. Sure, you stink if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan. You think, we missed out on Jeremiah Smith because we didn't take a knee a couple of years ago, because we were showing signs of incompetence with Tyler Van Dyke leading our team at the quarterback position, and the missed opportunities that were there. But now you look at it and you think, wait a second. Jeremiah Smith, I think his voice matters a ton in terms of high school recruits in the state of Florida, a powerhouse in terms of producing NFL talents. In this 305, in the South Florida region itself, if Jeremiah Smith says, I would be going to Miami if Miami was good. Well, Miami's good, and there are high schoolers right now deciding where they want to go. The best player in our area, per us, ESPN West Palm's high school coverage, ESPN Top 63, the best player in our area goes to West Boca High School, and he's a running back, and he just won a state championship. Javian Mallory is going to be a Miami Hurricane. And yes, that list is just for Treasure Coast and Palm Beach County, but I'm sure that Miami's going to have a stranglehold on in-state talent, specifically south of Orlando, and that's got to be just licking your chops at the next 5-10 years in producing championship contending Hurricane teams, no?
And I think a couple things go into that. Number one, Jeremiah Smith saying that does, it spreads word. People will hear that and all of a sudden think, all right, well, Brian Hartline, who's now at USF, keep in mind, who's going to be in Tampa, no longer Ohio State, who's a big receiver, who's their offense coordinator, and basically the guy who's the lifeblood of that receiver room. He got Jeremiah Smith up to Ohio State, but hearing that, and not only seeing that, but also seeing Malachi Toney as a true freshman make the kind of doing the damage that he has done for the Hurricanes to this point in the season, and the fact that Miami is getting at-large presence, at-large favorability within the eyes of the committee, this absolutely helps in terms of the viewpoint, angle, whatever you want to call it, in terms of Miami. I actually think that because hearing stuff like that and sort of grand scoping the whole season, this last 2-year kind of exposition of Miami getting the number 1 pick in the draft, then all of a sudden hearing this, Malachi Toney in the playoff, winning a playoff game against an SEC team, I think right here, then and now, success. Success. Everything what we've done, this has been perfect. You built the foundation of the cake. Everything else is the cherry on top from here on out. Everything else, you compete with Ohio State, you play a competitive game, helps for recruiting. As long as you don't get blown out, anything from here on out will help you. If you want to lose to Ohio State, 35-7, we have a different conversation. But if you go into that game, you lose 28-18 in a competitive football game, or you lose 17-10 in a competitive football game against Ohio State, helps Miami in the net. It's a net positive for Miami.
Yeah, if Miami loses in the fashion that Texas did in the college football playoff last year, where it was Texas had a chance to tie the game at the very end there, and then a return for a touchdown by Sapp's strip sack. You're exactly right. They belong on the same field as the defending national champion. That'd be huge for the program. And I really do go back to what Jeremiah Smith said, and I love how you brought up Malachi Toney in that situation, because Jeremiah Smith is probably seeing what Malachi Toney is doing as a freshman, and he thinks about himself, and he's thinking, you know what, this is really nice at Ohio State. Love being a national champion. But there is an invaluable quality of staying home and doing it where you grew up. And he's seeing Malachi Toney be able to do that because Malachi Toney is also a local kid in South Florida, being able to bring Miami back to the promised land and be there from the ground up, where Malachi Toney reclassified and technically shouldn't even be in college right now, and he's being that much of an impact player. I'm sure Jeremiah Smith thinks he'd be able to do very similar things if he was wearing the Miami Hurricanes uniform. And that was some of the best recruiting I've ever seen from a non-member of the Miami organization.
Absolutely. It validates everything that Mario Cristobal and that the coaches room and everything that they've done the last couple of years, even though they haven't necessarily seen major playoff success, it validates everything that Miami was looking for. What was Miami looking for when they brought Cristobal in? What were they looking for when they went and made two big splashes and getting Cam Ward and then Carson Beck, who, whether you like him or not, was a big splash nonetheless?
Yeah, he's the biggest name in the quarterback portal last year.
It was. And what does it tell you? The fact that they're not afraid to play a true freshman, a baller of a player in Malachi Toney. And what does it tell you? That they're going to have another top 5 pick on the defensive side of the ball in Ruben Bain. It tells you that Miami, regardless of the conference, regardless of where you thought they were, they're in a different spot now. And I think, and I don't love Miami, to be honest with you. I don't love it. But what I can say is you got to give credit to where credit's due, and I think everybody else is catching up. And I think the fact is that Miami, comparatively to, 600 days ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think it's a night and day difference in terms of outlook. Because the important part was not only showing that Miami had money internally, they had a coach internally, they had players internally. It was about showing everybody else that they are someone to be respected. And I think that's why that A&M game was huge. If Miami walked into A&M and got blitzed and lost 35-3 by an SEC school, and once again you're looking at it thinking, oh boy, Miami, geez, they did not belong in that game. You think Jeremiah Smith would have said that? Probably wouldn't have. He probably wouldn't have said, I would have went to Miami had Miami been like this. The fact that they won that game, the fact that they were able to beat A&M on the road, I think kind of further validates the culture shock and the program outlook that they have sort of done, the PR cleanse that they're going through. I think that really validates it. And I think the fact that players now notice, I think that helps South Florida recruiting. I think it makes it harder for South Florida recruiting from other schools because Miami's going to be the first at the totem pole. Yeah. And it's not Florida, and it's definitely not Florida State. So those schools are going to be second in line to the South Florida hotbed of talent because Miami is not only right there, but Miami is now producing high-level players professionally. They're producing high-level teams collegiately, and they are now recruiting to the highest of levels. They're triple whammy. And I don't even love Miami. I do not think they're going to win on December 31st. I don't think that game will be particularly close either. I think it'll be a 2-score game. But to this point, whatever Miami's done, A+ success. Anything else is the cherry on top.
It really is an awesome blend of cultures there in Miami because you have a head coach whose background and his strength is the offensive line, the quiet heroes on the football field, toughness, brutality, but the Miami brand itself is flash and skill players and excitement. And then the guys that come out of this area are speed, and then the pocketbook that Mario Cristobal is able to pull out of in order to keep and get these players out of the transfer portal. They are a threat to truly, I'm not talking about this year entirely, but to be a mainstay in this college football playoff. And it is a bewilderment that they have not won the ACC. Their time is about to come where they will be in that game and winning that game, if you ask me, more often than any other team in the ACC through the next decade. They are primed for that, and they've got the right guy at the head coach position, which I would have not said, like you mentioned, 600 days ago, where they finished 7-6 in their regular season. And they had just the most disgusting coaching performances in a couple of situations where it was the Georgia Tech game where they could have taken a knee and won the football game, and they didn't, and fumbled the ball and gave the football back and lost that. A decision that is only head coach predication. I don't care what you have to say about whether he should have fumbled the ball or not. Take the knee, win the game. They didn't do that. They lost the game. I would have not have thought Miami would be in this position 600 days ago.
Yeah, you got to the 2-year program cleanse has been as good as you could possibly get. Texas went through this a little bit about 4 or 5 years ago, post-Ellinger, and really shifted into SEC. That probably started with Sarkisian, Steve Sarkisian moving there as head coach. But this is what you need. Jim Harbaugh did it for Michigan. Like, this is the type of change of culture, change of program outlook that can elevate a program. And USC a little bit with Lincoln. Go ahead.
And it's so much more difficult for those two programs you mentioned, with Texas being in the SEC, and what was the other program you mentioned? Michigan being in the Big Ten, where there is a top dog or a host of top dogs that prevent you from reaching that upper echelon. There's a power vacuum right now in the ACC. With the fall of Florida State and the fall of Clemson, that is an unmanned kingdom. Like, there is not a king there. There is not someone at the top that you need to compare yourself against to overcome, like you have in Ohio State, like you have in Georgia and previously Alabama. That crown is for the taking right now in the ACC, and no one in that conference is more well-positioned than the Miami Hurricanes.
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why James Franklin probably took that Virginia Tech job, too, is because you see an opening. You almost see a gash in the wound, and you see a chink in the armor. You see it because Duke is there, fine. Virginia, we don't know if they're going to hang around year in and year out. Clemson's sort of in free fall, even after the Pinstripe Bowl, which Christian knows plenty about, with Clemson at Yankee Stadium.
They lost that game.
Terrible. Clemson's in free fall. Let's call it like we see it there. Florida State, no, this is a buffer year, so they can afford the buyout, for being honest. And then outside of that, Pitt, in 1 year in, 1 year out. Pitt's been a pretty good program, but nobody's been that dangerous. Georgia Tech had a bad loss to BYU in their bowl game. Whether you want to read too far into that, they're going to lose Haynes King, who has been sort of their golden boy for the last 4 years. Outside of that, the ACC is wide open for the taking. So now, the next step for Miami, yes, if they surprise the world and go win it all, I don't think they can win it all. But I think from here on out, the expectation for them will be, bar none, you win that conference.
Yeah.
Win that conference. Get the top players in the South Florida area. That's that southernmost 60, 75 miles that goes kind of up here through sort of the edge of the Treasure Coast. That should be all Miami first gets their first licks. That really should be.
They really should dominate that. Like, you will be hearing when we have our National Signing Day coverage about a green and orange wave that should be sweeping this area, especially if they put something good on tape in front of a national viewing audience on New Year's Eve. Everyone's going to want to grow up and become a Miami Hurricane yet again, as if it's the year 2004.
And since we're talking about this, and the next time we'll be on the air together is for pregame of the Orange Bowl, which is going to be Oregon Texas Tech, which is the first game on New Year's Day. Miami and Ohio State play between now and then. Yeah. You think Miami's going to play well in that game? I've already made my opinion clear that I actually think Ohio State will win that and win that quite easily. Where do you stand?
I think they're going to cover. I think Ohio State's going to win a field goal game. I think they are going to hang in there tough. I am not as low on Carson Beck as you are, and I think that Carson Beck's SEC experience is going to help him here because that's really what you're facing in terms of a defense of Ohio State. I think that the Ohio State defensive backs will have a tough task in guarding Malachi Toney and with Daniels also as well. I think that Miami's going to be able to hang in there.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I just don't trust the offense. And I know some people, I don't trust Ohio State's offense too. Well, Indiana's a top 4 defense in the country. And Ohio State's offense left a lot on the board in that Big Ten championship game. Outside of that, they have talent, and they've been pissed off for a month. I think Miami's going to walk into a little bit of a beating. I really do. And maybe I'm down on Miami. Maybe Miami's going to surprise me again. I doubted them against Texas A&M. I'm going to doubt them again. And I think, and I'm not saying this, thank God Mike Rizzo's not in town. So when I say this, I think Ohio State's going to win. I think they're going to win pretty easy, too. I think they're
thinking about Ohio State.
More talented.
No one cares.
Mike Rizzo's not here to, get into the recruiting because he would be pissed off with Jeremiah Smith saying that.
Oh,
but nonetheless,
man. Yeah, he's got Stockholm Syndrome.
Nothing less. But nonetheless, I think that Miami will lose that Cotton Bowl game on New Year's Eve night. I think we're due for a rough game. Due for a rough game.
I know there was a shooting in New Orleans. Not a shooting. So there was an attack in New Orleans last year that moved the what's the bowl game?
Yeah, they moved the Sugar Bowl.
So was it a different schedule last year because of that?
They moved it up. Remember, they played at 4:00. It was the Notre Dame game. And they played it at, 4 o'clock? It was Georgia game, actually. Played it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Played it while we were on the show.
That's right. Yes. That was really weird that day.
That was really weird. They played it when we were on the show. It was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
While we're on the topic, what do you think our plan is going to be? We're at the Orange Bowl. We're going to be there very early in the morning, pre-game show, essentially, boots on the ground at Hard Rock Stadium, Texas Tech, Oregon. We'd be fools to leave that game. You got to watch that entire game. Do you want to go somewhere? Like afterwards, rather than waste.
Play that by, what are we on? 9 to 11, I believe that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because maybe Oregon blows Texas Tech out, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I think Tech's going to play well. I do.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that when we get close. I think Tech's going to show some people what's up.
I was very impressed with what I saw the last time I saw Texas Tech. That defense is awesome, and you can buy talent, and they certainly did.
Yeah, and the defense will keep them in the game. So it's a matter of if their offense can show up. Be a tough game to win. James Madison, keep in mind, James Madison scored 34 points. I know a lot of it was garbage time. Still scored 30 points. So that doesn't necessarily fare well for that, big, mighty Oregon Duck defense. Texas Tech's not necessarily walking into the steel curtain. It's not going to be like that. So I think if there's a defense that can keep you in it, it's Texas Tech's defense. And if offensively they can figure something out, conjure something together, I think they're going to beat them. I really do.
I think my game plan is going to be, unless the game turns into a blowout, stay through the entirety of the Orange Bowl, get some content there, and then stay in Miami and watch the second game.
Problem is Hard Rock's in a residential area.
It's a good point. You got to actually drive probably 30 minutes.
You got to go 20 minutes in any direction to go somewhere.
And then again, the media park is not that bad, so we'll be able to get out of there. Not too bad of a traffic jam. It is gonna be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make it. I haven't even thought about it. I'm going to have to make a decision on that. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Because it's made for TV, so those games don't have much time between. It's
no, absolutely. And it's going to be the Rose Bowl. Remember, the second game's the Rose Bowl.
Ooh, yeah.
Indiana, Alabama, Rose Bowl. You're not going to want to miss any of that. So that's a tricky spot. We're going to have to figure that out. Nonetheless, Christian Cott, Colin, Russo and Rizzo. We got Jonathan Zazo joining in at 5:25. We're going to have a little 5 at 5. A little bit more of the weekend schedule coming up next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Safebound Moving and Storage is growing. We're looking for new movers and drivers who lead by example, show up ready, and take pride in their work. If you're dependable, willing to learn, and thrive in a fast-paced environment, you'll fit right in. This isn't just a job, it's a career. Do you have what it takes? If so, visit safeboundmoving.com to apply today. Safeboundmoving.com.
All right, let's talk about your game day routine. You've got the jersey, the cooler, the tickets, but what about your ride? Show up looking like a champion with Unlimited Auto Wash Club. With 6 South Florida locations, every membership includes unlimited 100% hand washes, 1 per day, every day. From a quick exterior shine to the ultimate special with wax, Rain-X, and interior touch-ups, Unlimited Auto Wash keeps your car looking its best all season long. Call 561-WASH-ME-TOO or visit a location today.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach. Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
To help those who want to be helped but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Hey, the new year is on the horizon. What does that mean? It means that you got to start a resolution. You may got to make sure you're getting in the gym, doing something active. Got to get something going to start off 2026 in the right way. Why not F45? It's functional sides of working out. It's gym style. So it's classes in and out, either through the morning or through the afternoon. You get 2 coaches on site. It's high-intensity interval training, made to get your heart rate up, meant to kind of get you into perfect shape, meant to keep that heart rate moving and keep your sweat flowing. That's how it goes, and you got a bunch of like-minded fitness individuals who show up to class with you, and you guys can do a bunch of functional movements. It changes. It's never the same workout twice. It changes every single day. And these coaches on site making sure that you're not necessarily putting yourself in harm's way in terms of the movements that you're doing. And you don't feel stiff. You feel mobile. You feel flexible. And you feel stronger coming out of these classes. F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Check out their location today. Go to their Instagram, F45 downtown West Palm Beach, for more information. Colin, Russo, and Christian Cat with you. Second hour of Russo and Rizzo, the 5 p.m. hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage. We got Jonathan Zazo joining in just about 25 minutes of the Zazo Show 2.0. In the meantime, a lot of different topics happened from over the week. Let's get into it. Let's bounce around. Let's do a little 5 at 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Number 1.
Well, going into the weekend, it was leaked, and then it later was announced by the University of Michigan that they found their new head coach. You might remember his name from Utah, longtime head coach Kyle Whittingham, who stepped down after this season, said he was still considering coaching elsewhere, and, well, Michigan came a-calling. Listen to this question that we heard during his introductory press conference regarding that team down south.
And just to be clear, do you dislike Ohio State, or is that something you have to learn how to do?
I do now, I guess, but
yes, in case you didn't hear, do you now dislike Ohio State? I do now, I guess. Colin, what do you think of the Michigan hire of Kyle Whittingham from Utah?
Yeah, we haven't talked about this yet. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's safe. You know Whittingham, there's never been a bad word said of it, at least as far as I can see. There's not a lot of bad words about him. He's led University of Utah to a lot of good seasons. They've had a lot of good years where they've been top of the Pac-12. They were good in the Big 12 this year. I would say that this is a good hire. All things considered, Braum is a little younger. You got to think about where this could lead and sort of your 5-year, 10-year plan. What does that look like with Kyle Whittingham as head coach of your Wolverines? But he's 66 years old. Is this guy going to coach into his 70s? Are we really under that impression? You ask questions about why he left. Why did you leave Utah? Was it about private equity getting involved? Do you think it changed your base? He's been there for 22 seasons. He's been there for a long time. He's got to follow up with Urban. So, do I think he can handle it? Yes. Do I think he's safe? Yes. Top-end talent, top-end, ceiling. Is it there with him? I'm not really sure. Do I think Jeff Braum was a better opportunity? I think, yeah. I don't know if Jeff Braum was not interested. I don't know if they didn't call him. I don't know if Whittingham, they like that more. But the thing about Whittingham is he is overachieved at a middling, not terribly rich state school in the Power 4. Because of that, I think you got to take this and say, this is a very good hire for what the situation is. And the situation is you wanted somebody that wasn't going to kind of cause a ruckus. They weren't going to have people following them. It wasn't going to be a major issue. But the thing about Whittingham you don't love is they had a bad year last year. They were not great the year before that. They couldn't get away with Cam Rising. But he's mostly a 8 to 11 win coach. And because of that, I think that at the Power 4 level, overachieving, is a success. I think it's a good hire.
Yeah, this is kind of a instance of you can relate to relationships where maybe a girl is a long-time relationship with this blue-collar guy who works on Wall Street, and the breakup was not very good. It wasn't clean. So that girl's next boyfriend ends up being a construction worker who works out of the city, salt of the earth, wears the Carhartt. She looked for anyone that did not remind her of her toxic ex. And Sharon Moore was a very toxic ex, both in a business matter and in a literal matter, as we have discovered through reports. Whittingham is as safe as it gets. Like, I remember I saw a couple of tweets where Kyle Whittingham, he has not posted on Instagram in like 4 years, and he follows 3 women on Instagram, and they're all his relatives. Like, this guy is not going to be any issues off the field like you saw with Sharon Moore. No scandals. I think for Whittingham, what a home run for him. Like, okay, did Michigan win by hiring him? To be decided. But for Whittingham, leaving Utah, where he spent a long time there, he loved it there, he built something great there, he overperformed there. But you look across the way, Utah will forever be compared to their holy war rival in BYU. Seeing how good BYU is, coming of late, competing in the Big 12, a lot of money with BYU now, significantly more than Utah. It was the right time to get out of Utah, and you fall into the Michigan job. What a win for him.
Yeah, he fell upward in a lot of ways. I think Utah probably wanted a way out from it. He walked away. He's been a sort of a namesake of that program. They love him there. But we don't know how good he is with unlimited resources.
True. Yeah.
Is he great with unlimited resources? That's the question. That's the question you got to ask yourself when you hire this next big coach. Similar to how Kalen DeBoer is at Alabama. How are you with unlimited resources? Can you? Because it's sort of like the age-old question of, like, if for an MLB team, if you'd rather be a general manager of a team with unlimited money or limited money. In a lot of ways, the team with unlimited money can do whatever they want, but when you don't hire somebody, you don't fire somebody, you do something a little differently, you get criticized. When you're at Utah, you could only go up. You know, a bad year at Utah is not as scrutinized as a bad year at Michigan. Now, he's got unlimited resources. He's going to have plenty of recruiting chips. He's going to have a lot of big-time players helping out with the program and a lot of, big-time billionaires helping out with the NIL side of things. Because of that, can you capitalize? Can you compete with Ohio State? And that's the baseline. That's the baseline. If he could do that, they're going to be happy with him. Number 2.
Colin, you got to help me out with this one because there was a weird event called the Battle of the Sexes happen in the tennis world over the weekend where you had Nick Kyrgios take on Aryna Sabalenka, and Kyrgios got the win. But can you tell me exactly how this worked? Because I saw a snippet of it, and Sabalenka, the female in the situation, was playing on a smaller court, forcing the male in the situation hit into a smaller court. And it was the opposite for there. Tell me what happened here.
Yeah, so, back in there's a movie about it, but back in 1973, or 1974, I have to check, Billie Jean King defeated Bobby Riggs in straight sets in the first Battle of the Sexes. That was a big thing. And it was like sort of a clashing of the men's and women's tennis fields, and it was a good story and that whole thing. They wanted to do it again, but Serena Williams, who's Palm Beach County, herself, has made it clear over the years, even when she was at the top of her game, number 1 player in the world by a large best women's player of all time, when she was saying, I'm great in the women's field. I could not compete in the men's field. There are some people that argue both sides of this. So what they do, they got the number 1 women's player in the world, Aryna Sabalenka, and they're having her go against Nick Kyrgios, who is a former finalist for, I believe, a Wimbledon. And outside of that, he's been out of tennis for about 2 or 3 years. And then what they do...
They got Trevor Bauer, if you're comparing to the baseball.
Trevor Bauer got kicked out of the league, so to speak. This guy, he played himself out. He's out of form. Good serve. Never was a great player because he never took it seriously. And they created a special court where Nick Kyrgios has to do a larger court for comparatively to Arena's having to go a smaller side-to-side. And I believe they only had 1 serve, which favors Sabalenka over Kyrgios because that's Kyrgios' Achilles heel, is that he can never serve in his first serve. He can never buy a first serve. That's his idea. So I don't know. It's kind of patronizing if you ask me, but if it's for the right causes, I guess it's fine. I just don't think – you don't learn anything from it. What did we learn? You did this whole experiment. I honestly forget that it happened. And you come out of this, and Nick Kyrgios won 6-3, 6-3. He was clearly not in good form. He's the number 1 women's player in the world. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
What is best case scenario here? Like, what is it? She beats him? She's not going to beat him.
Yeah, in the wrestling business, the professional wrestling business, this is what you call a burial. where if two companies put their best wrestlers in a match where it's obviously predetermined, they would never do that because someone has to win the match. And whoever loses the match, their best wrestler is not as good as someone on the other company. So you bury the whole company. This feels like a burial of women's tennis. It's like this guy who pulled off the couch, who, as you say, is not a top player in the world, not close to a top player in the world.
Not now.
Against the women's top player in the world. Beat her in, 2 straight sets?
Yeah,
However that works.
6-3. Yeah, it's fine. And I watched a little bit of it, and, they're playing half-legged, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Yeah. It's not something that had to have happened.
No. I agree. Because there should be nobody out there arguing the differences in men's and women's tennis. Men's tennis is play best of 5. Women's tennis plays best of 3. The serves are 35-mile-an-hour differences on the first serve. And Serena Williams, who's the best women's player of all time, said I would go against the 200-ranked men and lose in straight sets. That's just how that goes.
Yeah.
It's just you can't. Nobody should compare it. So that's why I don't think they should merge unless it's just for the mark of a charity.
Yeah,
I don't think you're learning anything from discourse.
And sometimes you'll see a female athlete who is just dominant, who's incredible, who's historically great in what they do. In MMA, way back when, about 10 years ago now, that was Ronda Rousey in the UFC. And people were making really bold claims about what Ronda Rousey would be able to do if maybe she was fighting in their own battle of the sexes. We don't need that never happened. Ronda Rousey never got in the ring with a guy and proved that to be right or wrong. And I think instances like this, apart from the safety measures in combat sports, an example like this tennis battle of the sexes indicates why you shouldn't have that happen.
And the only league where you sort of see this is you've seen this occasionally with WNBA players. I believe it was Asia Wilson who has said that, sometimes she would kill an NBA player or something like that if they played 1-1 or something like that. Brittany Griner said that too about DeMarcus Cousins once, and it was like a whole thing. But there's a reason you don't test this stuff. It's different sports. They play different sports. That's the bottom line. They play different sports. The athleticism and the size and the strength is just different on one level. That's just how it goes. The same reason that we do not go competitively with MMA. There's a reason There's a reason that softball is different than baseball. It's just different. That's just how it goes.
Number 3.
Let's go to some college football bowl action. Who said these games don't matter? Well, did Lane Kiffin inadvertently kind of indicate that? Lane Kiffin showed up to the LSU-Houston game. Of course, Lane Kiffin's the now head coach of the LSU Tigers. He'll take over for next season on that very public breakup with Ole Miss in the middle of their season. Lane Kiffin appeared on the broadcast. Quick little interview on the broadcast in that brown leather jacket of his, and cameras caught him leaving the Texas Bowl shortly after his ESPN appearance. Did not stay for the eventual loss to Houston, 38-35, that his future LSU Tigers did take. Did you see any of this? Is that a bad look for Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, I did see this. And, it's very bizarre how these teams don't necessarily, or these coaches, there's not a perfect way to play this. The calendar's bad. We know the calendar's bad. You're sort of just begging to get the transfer portal season. You're in charge of the recruiting now, yet they still have an interim coach that is running operations with the team. You know this is not going to be your team coming in next year. Does it make that much of a difference if he stays for the full game against Houston or not for a team he didn't coach? I guess not. But I think just for optics, isn't it about just staying with the program?
Yeah.
I can't overly criticize it because, in my opinion, it was a meaningless game, and there's no doubt it was. And SEC, once again, is having a bad bowl season. Missouri went down, and LSU, is having a bad bowl season once again. But, can you stick around for 2 hours? Really? Can you stick around for 3 hours?
Yeah.
And then he goes on his Instagram, and he's posting with, yoga instructors in Baton Rouge. Really? Come on. I'm out on Lane Kiffin. I didn't think he made the right decision by leaving in the first place. I criticized that to quite an extent. And I sit here now, talk about how to not handle a PR storm. Because now, I don't think LSU fans changing their mind because that's their guy. And maybe they just wanted to rid themselves of this season. The season was such a nightmare. But would it kill you to hang around for the game? Really? Would it kill you? I mean, hang around, just to be there, just to show up. You're keeping guys around from the staff. Like, come on. Nonetheless.
Number 4.
Let's go to some NFL Sunday action. We broke around a lot of it. Talked about the Browns somehow beating the Steelers. Talked about a little bit of Ravens over Packers action on Saturday. Of course, the Bills-Eagles game went down to the wire. And the explosive fireworks between the 49ers and the Bears. Maybe falling under the radar was a traditional butt whooping that we have seen time and time again in the AFC East, this time with a fresh face. The Patriots beat the Jets 42-10. That game was over before the end of the first quarter. New England had a 35-3 lead at halftime. Drake May was making records left and right. He was ridiculous in that game. Another performance where he was above 90% completion percentage. Had 5 touchdowns and 2 incompletions, 19 for 21. Do you take anything out of that Patriots win over the Jets? Or is this just for show at this point with the Jets being well on their way out?
We talked to Evan Cohen of Sportsman. He was a big Patriot fan himself, and in my opinion, he showed a lot of Patriot bias when we were talking about it. But they've beaten one team. They have 13 wins. They've beaten one team with above a 500 record right now. Beaten one team. They played the Panthers. Fine. The Panthers are 8-8. Fine. They're 500. They beat the Bills. That was it. And they split. They have not beaten another above 500 team this entire season. I'm gonna have a lot of questions, and I think the team's good. I do. I like May. I think they've done a great job this season. You know, you win the games you're slated in the schedule. I can't fault them for that. Am I going to have questions about them in that first round of the playoffs? Absolutely. And I think they're lucky because they're going to have that 2 seed, and therefore they're probably going to have the Chargers coming into town that first game. And I think of all the games of those wild card road teams, Texans, Bills, and Chargers, I think the Chargers is probably the best matchup for any team. Because people love Herbert. If you watch that Texan game, you saw Herbert was kind of doing something with nothing. But I walk away from that thinking that's another big game in which the Chargers did not win. And I understand Herbert played well. It's because the team is depleted. Every team is depleted. We play 17 games. There's a ton of injuries. Look at the Niners. They've lost every major player on their team. So I can't criticize them for beating and dominating an easy schedule. But I can hold it against them when I'm trying to figure out ahead of time who are going to be those top teams, dangerous teams in the AFC. I think that is a favorable game for the Patriots. They're lucky about that. But I don't think that team's going to come out of the AFC. I think teams are going to want to deal with them. I think teams are going to want to match up with them comparatively to Jacksonville. And, you know, the Ravens even, I think the Ravens would offer something a little bit more than what the Patriots could, weirdly enough. And it sounds crazy to say, but I think it's true.
Yeah, it's getting ugly for the Jets. I don't know. It's
What a joke.
It's one thing to sign up for a bad year. It's another to live through it and see it week after week after week. And calling for anybody's job is not in my taste, especially when they haven't completed a season yet.
Yep.
But I am not 100% confident that Aaron Glenn will be the head coach of the Jets. I'm not saying I would fire him, but these guys are making quick decisions left and right on their personnel. Win now, win now, win now. Do you want to develop your next quarterback with Aaron Glenn? I don't know.
It's a tricky situation. It really is, because this would be, coach number 5? That would be 6 coaches in 9 years. Something like that? 6 coaches in 8 years.
Glenn, Saleh, was Gase before.
Ulbrich was there, and then Bulls.
Wow.
So, I mean, the Bulls got fired, I think, 2018, 2017, maybe? So, and then they got Gase. Gase lasted a year. Bob Saleh lasted about 2-3 years, I believe. Ulbrich lasted, he was there for, I believe, a couple games, 12 games, 13 games. They fired Saleh early. And then they got Glenn. I don't know if it's the right move. I really don't. But that team was uncompetitive. It's sort of like the Raiders. You've gotten worse as the season went along. And I understand you stockpiled a bunch of draft picks because of that. But what are you planning on doing? The Jets are going into next season with a new quarterback, whether it be a brand new guy straight out of the draft, or they're going to go get another veteran and try a Justin Fields experiment part 2. Regardless of what the case may be, are we sure we want to give this? And they had the Sauce Gardner trade, they had the Quentin Williams trade. They had they got a lot of assets because of that. You want to give the current regime that? I don't know. Because they have been uncompetitive and laughable. And you got to show a little bit more guts when you're playing in these games, because I understand that team's outplaying you. I understand you're 2 weeks from vacation. But there's something about pride in this scenario that I think the Jets lack. And that only falls on the Glenn. And I wasn't a Glenn guy to begin with. I was out on Glenn with how they performed in the divisional round of last year, when the Commanders came in and smoked the Lions. That's when I was down on them. So I don't really know where I stand on this, but I could see I feel like he's earned himself. I mean, any coach really earns himself another year. But I'm not a Glenn guy. So if they really fire him, it's about who's waiting in the wings that you're ready to go hire. If Mike Tomlin, and I don't think he does.
Oh, no.
If he, for some reason, thinks I'm in the mood to rebuild something and I want to go to the Jets, there you go. There you have it. Then you get rid of Glenn.
If Mike Tomlin gave Jets fans the results that he's giving Steelers fans, they would erect a statue before the end of the decade.
Not a question. Not a question. So for some reason, if Tomlin says, this is boring, I want to go rebuild something, there's the Jets.
If we're being honest, I don't know if I said this with you. We're kind of pulling at a thread here on the Tomlin conversation. I think Mike Tomlin would excel with that Packers job. That's where I think Mike Tomlin would go if they agree to mutually part ways. And the Packers look and see Mike Tomlin available. I think they'd be quicker to pull the trigger on getting rid of Matt LaFleur, who gave them 4 straight years of playoff berths as a 7th seed. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility.
That'd be a crazy move. I don't think it's crazy either. I think the thing is, LaFleur. There's a larger line for LaFleur's services than there is for Tomlin's services.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's different strokes for different folks, because
You're not wrong.
You look at LaFleur, who's handed down quarterback after quarterback, whereas for Mike Tomlin, it's been the exact opposite.
You're not wrong, but LaFleur's been great with the backup.
Okay.
He's been great when things kind of go awry in terms of injuries. He's good at developing coaches. And he stays out of the way. And the Jets would love LaFleur. Fine. Tomlin go to the Jets. We'll take, please. Matt, here's your desk. I don't know if that's a job the Packers would do. Because in the Packers' mind, is that a lateral move? Probably.
Packers dropping LaFleur for Tomlin?
Yeah, that's a lateral move at best. It's a lateral move.
It's so tough because how much do we know about Mike Tomlin as a head coach? We know how he performs in his current job, but track record-wise, it's only self-contained in Pittsburgh, which I don't know is a good thing for him or a bad thing for him in terms of how you view him as a head coach.
It's a net major positive that he's lasted as long as he did with 19 straight winning seasons. That speaks for itself. That's not a testament. It's a great franchise. They've had 3 coaches since 1969 with Noel, Cowher, and then Tomlin. You got to give them all the credit in the world there. But maybe there's something to the fact that, all right, well, the litmus test is a little strange when you walk into a great franchise and succeed. You could say the same thing about LaFleur, because the Packers ultimately succeed very frequently, and therefore, but it's a head coach's sport. That's the most valuable position in this game. You think it's quarterback? It's not. It's coach. You nail coach, you nail everything else. Jets, are they walking away from this season thinking we nailed the coach? If the answer is not a resounding yes, you absolutely have to make a decision. So I don't know. But the whole goal is to raise a trophy, right? Well, when a trophy is raised, it could feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is, because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into on the ESPN app. You got no offseason, just everything a fan needs to keep going. It's always in season. It never dies. It's get all of ESPN in one spot, the ESPN app, all in one place. Download the ESPN app today on your TV or phone now. Colin Russo and Christian Cat will loop in Mr. Jonathan Zazzo, the Zazzo Show 2.0, the voice of the 305. On the other side of things, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Don't fumble your finances. Whether you're running a business or running plays, Jay Zolo and Associates keeps your books tight and your stress light. With nearly 30 years of experience, Jay Zolo is your go-to coach for QuickBooks, offering expert consulting, one-on-one training, and full-service bookkeeping. Jay Zolo and Associates, simplifying your books so you can win on and off the field. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
UFC 324 is almost here. Justin the Highlight Gaethje takes on Paddy the Batty Pimblett for the interim lightweight strap. While many are questioning Pimblett's path to the title, don't be surprised if the Scouser has his way with the aging Gaethje. I see this one going eerily similar to Charles Oliveira's first title defense against Justin, where DuBronx tapped him in just one round. If Paddy gets the job done, it will set up a monumental unification clash between Pimblett and the undisputed lightweight king, Ilia Topuria. Twin Peaks is your ultimate UFC headquarters for all the big pay-per-view cards and every fight night in between. Enjoy an ice-cold 29-degree draft beer and made-from-scratch favorites from the kitchen as you watch all the fights on one of the big-screen HD TVs. With Twin Peaks as your fight night headquarters, there's never a bad seat in the house. And you get to enjoy all of the fights without a cover. Twin Peaks is your go-to for eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T2.
The testosterone booster?
Yeah, but it's way more than that now. It also skyrockets your nitric oxide in as little as 3 hours. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with T2, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text CAR to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of new Nugenix Total T2. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's CAR to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Product not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Winter is here, and your neighborhood DQ Grill and Chill is ready. Treat yourself to the new Peppermint Bark Blizzard or the Frosted Sugar Cookie Blizzard. 2 festive flavors that taste just like the holidays. Still hungry? Try DQ's Sweet Chili Tossed Chicken Tenders. A perfect balance of sweet and heat. And while you're at DQ Grill and Chill, make your celebration complete. Stop in today and order your DQ holiday cake. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 convenient locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite awards show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Monday, December 29th, 2025. Just a couple days till 2026 is upon us. We are basically through the majority of the Week 17 NFL action. We got some college football playoff games this week with a triple header on New Year's Day, and then Miami and Ohio State kicking things off on New Year's Eve. So you got a lot to look forward to, a lot to talk about there. And we're looping in the voice of the 305. You can hear him on the Zazzo Show 2.0. Hear him all throughout ESPN Radio, all over the place, and the College Football Radio Campus Tour. Mr. Jonathan Zazzo, let's get to it, the voice of the 305.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley Gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills' offense keep up with the Dolphins' offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers' power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305. Presented by Anajar and Levine, Robin Hood, and Twin Peaks.
Zaz, welcome in. How's the holiday season treating you? What's going on?
Good to see you, Colin. I'm going to get done with this, to hanging out with you for a few minutes here, and then I'm heading right up to sunrise. We're going to go check out the Panthers tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Panthers on top of that, too. Okay. Played pretty well here in December. On top of that, Matthew Tkachuk, I believe he's eyeing that Winter Classic return, huh? On January 2nd?
If not the Winter Classic on Friday, it'd be, the game right after that. So we're on the precipice of Tkachuk getting back in the lineup.
And big stuff over the weekend. A lot to talk about on that front. I'm curious from this perspective. Let's start locally. We haven't talked about the Dolphins yet. Terrible, terrible game 2 weeks ago. A little bit better over the weekend, a lot better over Tampa Bay. Where are you at with how the Miami Dolphins have performed the last couple of weeks of the season and how it looks going in to Week 18 into the offseason?
Well, they're certainly going about things the right way now. What I mean by that is they're letting younger guys play, especially on the defensive side and obviously at the quarterback position. So you'd like to see the young guys play the last few weeks of the season. That's what they're doing right now. And you saw them make plays yesterday. So that's obviously a good thing going into the final week of the season. But obviously all the attention's on the quarterback and the coach. The coach going to return. I know this has become a topic again over the last couple of weeks, but I feel like this, we knew this a month or so ago. Like, the coach is going to return. And I feel like I've said this to you before where, which would you rather, or which would you rather see? The quarterback, meaning Tua, the quarterback with a new coach, or the coach with a new quarterback? Like, which do you think is a better chance of there being success? And I would say the coach with a new quarterback, I think there's a better chance of having success. And that's clearly the direction that they're going in, because Quinn Ewers was excellent yesterday in the first half. They didn't pass the ball very much in the second half, but in the first half, he was very, very good. And the biggest difference that you see, and it's really easy to see it, between Ewers and Tua right now is you got a quarterback who's, willing to stand back there in the pocket. He doesn't look afraid. He's not scared out there. He's willing to take some hits. B, he's willing to run for a first down, which in today's NFL, there has to be a threat for the quarterback to run for a first down every now and then. And C, he's looking downfield the entire time. Like, his first option is he wants to get a big play. That's the first option, not who can I dump the ball off really quickly to and make sure I don't get hit. So I feel like these couple of starts for Quinn Ewers, I don't think it could have gone much better. And I think Ewers is going to wind up getting a shot next year.
And getting a shot next year in terms of, do you think they'll add somebody else to that equation, whether it be a veteran, because bringing in another rookie doesn't make a lot of sense? Where do you think the best option is? Because he's making them make a decision.
Yeah, a veteran, because like right now, look, it's not a strong quarterback class anyway. You got Fernando Mendoza, you got Dante Moore. It's probably the only quarterbacks you feel real
Carson Beck, he's comfortable with that stadium. Zaz?
I don't know if Carson Beck gets drafted. I got to be honest with you. But those are the two guys who, are the big-name quarterbacks. And the Dolphins right now are going to have like the 13th, 14th overall pick in the draft, 15th overall. So you're not going to get a quarterback this year. Do they draft a quarterback late the same way they did Quinn Ewers? And now they seemingly like what they have? Yeah, maybe, but I would expect Ewers and a veteran quarterback next year. I mean, Colin, there's no way anybody looks at yesterday, and I'm not telling you that Quinn Ewers set the world on fire, and I'm not trying to tell you Quinn Ewers is the quarterback for this team of the future, but there's no one who could possibly make the case that Quinn Ewers right now is not leaps and bounds better than what we were seeing from Tua.
And you think you've seen, and it sounds like the ownership likes McDaniel, and it sounds like, to your point, you're going to have to make a decision one way or the other. Do you try a new quarterback and keep the coach, or do you try same quarterback and try a different coach? You actually have already tried option A with getting rid of Flores and Tua and that whole situation there. And now you've seen him with two different coaches. But so I understand what you're saying, and I think there's probably some truth to that. I'm not a McDaniel guy. If it's up to me, I would get rid of him. But I understand that he's probably earned himself yet again. They've had good wins late in the season. I think that matters because you're keeping the guys engaged. And I think that will tell the ownership just enough that we don't need to completely rinse the whole situation. Speaking of teams that are going to have a decision on this, we just talked about this, the team in the division, the New York Jets. They got the Patriots, who are just down the street, who fired a coach after one season, and then look at the dividends that's paying right now. They got Aaron Glenn, who has been nothing short of a disaster the last couple of weeks, and after maybe the most laughable performance of the entire season yesterday against the Patriots, do the Jets make a decision like that? I wanted to stay in the division, get your thoughts there.
We saw it happen once here with the Dolphins where Cam Cameron was one and done. In order to be one and done as a head coach, first year, brand new head coach, your team really needs to be an abomination. And the New York Jets have been an abomination. And we've seen, look, we saw it, like you said, with the Patriots. It almost mirrors that situation where you have a rookie head coach take over a team that was a disaster, where it's like a nostalgia hire. It's a very likable guy who brings back memories of past successful teams, and both of them seem to be completely out of their league. Just not an NFL head coach. My guess is that Glenn is back for a second year, but I could see a scenario where they get rid of him. And if they do get rid of him, you got to remember, if it's a first-year head coach, first rookie head coach, and you get rid of him after the first season, that guy's never going to be a head coach again. Like, that's the stigma that you put on. Like, Rob Mayo's never going to be a head coach again. If Aaron Glenn is fired this year, he will never, ever be a head coach again. So you want to make sure that there's no chance there, because there's also going to be a stigma that stays with that guy for the rest of his career.
It's a good point, because Rob Saleh, who, was remarkably unsuccessful as a head coach, he was at the Jets for 3 years. They get rid of him. It was sort of an ugly exit. And then all of a sudden he spends 1 year at San Francisco, and we're back to Robert Saleh potentially getting – he will get another job eventually. He'll eventually coach a team. And he can coach a team that doesn't necessarily need to rebuild, but if there's a team that needs sort of a change of scenery, a change of tune, he'd be a perfect option. That's for a defense that hasn't even played well because they're so hurt. So I think there's some truth to that you're sort of stamping the coach saying, like, do not hire if you do get rid of him after one season. In terms of what we saw yesterday on that packed Sunday slate with the football, Bills-Eagles, I want to get your take on first, because Bills-Eagles was an interesting one because Nick Sirianni, who's as insufferable as a coach as you could possibly find, going up the tunnel saying, oh, nobody's talking now, after not completing a pass in the second half, going 0 for 7 with Jalen Hurts, and then only basically mustering together 17 total yards of offense in that entire second half and still winning the game. From both sides, Bills and Eagles, do you walk away from that thinking that you're afraid of either of these two teams? Or is this sort of like an ugly hodgepodge of things where you're thinking, I'm not afraid of either of these two sides? Where are you at there?
If I'm the Eagles, I do feel good about it, because at least you can hang your head on, all right, that's a tremendous defensive performance where, one, we came up with a goal line stand and we stopped Buffalo from scoring early in the game on the goal line, and then we stopped them again on the 2-point conversion. So at least I feel like from a defensive side of things, I'm very pleased with that victory. I don't understand, for the second time this year, how is a professional football team go an entire second half without completing a forward pass? This is not 1930. And both games, they won both games that they didn't complete a forward pass. It's unbelievable. The reason I don't feel good if I'm an Eagles fan is because that NFC is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, right now in the first round, even if they're going to host a game, they'd be hosting the Rams in the first round. You can't feel good about that. It's going to be very difficult just to win a game in the NFC playoffs. On Buffalo's side of things, look, the Bills fan must feel like they really are cursed, because all those years in the past, if Buffalo either has, home field advantage, or at least they have a couple of home games in the playoffs, all right, fine. But you got Jackson over there, and you got Burrow over there, and you got Mahomes over there, and you got to get through them all, and they never can. Well, now this year, they're not going to have to go through any of those guys unless Jackson wins the final game. None of those guys are going to be in the playoffs, but you're going to have to play every game on the road. How do they possibly finish with the last wild card spot? I know they could wind up, moving up to 5 next week. But here's the thing. If you're Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, I think part of the reason that they went for 2 is because Josh Allen was clearly not healthy in that spot. So they figured, hey, 1 play as opposed to playing an extra 10 minutes to win the game with Josh Allen not feeling well. I wonder if they'll just say, hey, let's rest next week. Number one, we already have a playoff spot sewed up. Yes, we want to jump to 5, playing at Pittsburgh. That's a major, major difference between playing at New England.
And Herbert's not playing, too. So that Charger game, they're not winning the game. They're not going to steal that spot.
And, the Bills side of things, they're hosting the Jets. I don't care who's quarterback for Buffalo in that game. You could still win that game without Josh Allen. So I wonder if they'll sit Allen for next week.
Yeah, Allen's an Iron Man. Like, he'll never play out. See, well, I agree with what you're saying, that to the idea that maybe they thought he was hurt, but Allen's never missed. He never misses games. He never misses plays. Yeah, he could have his hand could be hanging off the bone, and he'll still come out there. So I actually thought it was the wrong decision, because you're turning a game in which you extended the period of play. If you extended another quarter, you get a 75-25 chance of winning just off of momentum alone. And
I like tying the game at home. I want to tie the game at home.
Right. That's a 75-25 chance. If we're just talking about probabilities, you do a 2-point conversion, it's now a 50-50 chance. The Eagles like that. And that's a coin flip of a play. And I think that's where they got burned there, because not only did you have a look, Allen missed it. Maybe Allen was hurt. Who knows? But like you said, not completing a pass in the second half. You have James Cook, who just ran all over the defense the last 2 drives. They are gassed. You go for it. Yeah, I mean, you go for it. You go for OT. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you go for OT. I think they made a mistake there. But from the Bills' perspective, I'm curious. Let's stay in the AFC for a second. I agree. The NFC is going to be a gauntlet. It probably looks like, because if the Niners lose that game, they'll be the 6, and if Seattle loses that game, they'll actually be the 6 as well. The Rams have better divisional records, so the Rams are likely going to be playing that 4 seed, which is going to be the Tampa-Carolina game. Lock that in, most likely. And on top of that, the Bills are going to be playing at Jacksonville. And I'm a Jag fan. So let's call the bias. Let's check it at the door. I think Jacksonville is one of the more complete teams in the entire sort of the run of it, because I think they've beaten good teams. I think they actually have an underrated home field. And I trust them after watching them all year. I trust them a whole lot more than I trust Denver, who's won close and ugly all year, and then Patriots, who have beaten one above 500 team on their schedule that is above 500 today. They've beaten one of their 13 wins. So it just makes me a little nervous. Buffalo, I don't know if they love the matchup, but AFC is for the taking. I think that will be the conference of who gets hot at the right time.
I mean, look, would you be stunned if Houston, who looks like the best defensive team in football right now, would you be stunned if Houston wins a couple games these playoffs and finds themselves in the AFC Championship?
Probably not. Probably not.
I mean, right now, right now they have that 5 spots. They would face Pittsburgh or Baltimore. You win that game, the next thing you know, you're playing Bo Nix or Drake May in the first round of, possibly in the first round of the divisional round, and you got 2 quarterbacks who have no playoff pedigree. This Texan team can make a little bit of run.
Yeah, and on the NFC side of things, that Sunday Night Football game, it was a little akin to that Rams-Chiefs game in 2018, I actually thought, because it was just offense galore, offensive play calling galore, defenses on either side just didn't even bother. But nonetheless, an awesome finish, 42-38 in favor of San Francisco over Chicago. But do you sit there and watching the Eagle and Bill game, I sit there and say, I don't think either of these 2 teams can win it all, just because of the woes and the clear glaring holes that you see on either side. Now, I'm still nervous about the Eagles, but that's just how I view it. And I watched the Chicago and San Francisco game, and you sort of sit there and wonder, well, both these offenses can absolutely win it all, but you don't trust a thing about their defenses. Yeah. Where do you stand in terms of those 2 NFC powerhouses?
Yeah, the defenses stink, obviously, and normally, I don't love that kind of game normally that we saw last night. Like that Chiefs-Rams game. No, like that Chiefs-Rams Monday night game you're talking about was like 56-52. I hate that game. I never mix in a little bit of defense, please. But I will tell you, last night when that game ended, it's like, that's a good game. Like I enjoyed that game. I enjoyed that. And maybe that's why I liked it, was because it didn't come down to like a field goal at the end. Last team that has the ball wins. There was a defensive stop at the end of the game. So
Last two drives.
Yeah, so maybe that's why I actually enjoyed that game. The Bears, look, I think the Bears are in phenomenal shape as far as their future is concerned. Caleb Williams is clearly a guy. Ben Johnson is clearly going to be a good coach for them. I think it's a lot to ask for expectation-wise. You go into the season, you would love for the Bears to make the playoffs, and now you're talking about, man, can they win a couple of playoff games? I think that's a lot to ask for. I think baby steps sometimes is okay, but this Bears team is clearly in a position moving forward. Like, we can have a conversation. Caleb Williams, if he could pass for 270 yards, becomes the Bears' first ever 4,000-yard passer in the history of their franchise. We could also probably have an intelligent discussion right now as to whether or not Caleb Williams is already the best quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears. Like, who else? You going with Jay Cutler? Like, who else you going with if we're not talking Caleb Williams? And don't give me Jim McMahon, because if you go Jim McMahon, go look back at some stats. Go look at tape. He wasn't as good as you think he was, all right? So Caleb Williams may already be the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. On the other side of the 49ers, 6-0 since Purdy returned. I mean, this is a very, very good story they got going on right now with Brock Purdy, who looks as good as anyone right now.
You're not going to like the answer. Sid Luckman's the best quarterback in Bears history, 1948. You're not going to like it. But, 30 interceptions in a season. He invented the forward pass down the field. You're not going to like it. He's the best quarterback in Bears history. In terms of we talked about some of the teams that we don't necessarily trust, maybe a year away. All right, contending teams either side. Let's start in the NFC because we were talking about it. If there's like a two-team race there, is it to you, the Rams, Seattle? Where do you stand right there?
I think San Francisco is going to win the final game against Seattle. I think San Francisco is going to get the number one overall spot in the NFC. I don't.
They're rolling right now. They're rolling.
And it's a carbon copy from Sam Darnold last year to what's going on this year. Last year, Sam Darnold on the road, final regular season game. If the Vikings win at the Lions, they get the number one seed in the NFC. Same thing this year. If the Seahawks and Sam Darnold win at San Francisco, final game of the regular season, they get the number one seed in the NFC. Well, last year, Darnold lost. He was awful. And then in the first round of the playoffs, he was even worse. And they got smoked in the first round. So he gets a little bit of a mulligan. Like, he gets kind of a do-over this year, but I got to see it. I don't trust Sam Darnold to actually see it. So it's interesting how he has that exact same scenario that he's dealing with right now. The Rams side of things, yeah, I think the Rams can win road playoff games. Like, even if the Rams don't get the number one spot and they, move up to 5, so they have to play a couple, or I guess they'd have to play all 3 road games.
They'd have to play Carolina again, who they lost to early. That game would be 44-7. The Rams would not lose that game twice. There's no chance. And then they played the Eagles. Remember, that's the only team last year who competed at the Eagles and gave them actually a run for their money in that snow game in the divisional round.
And look, let's also point out, San Francisco, this has never happened before. San Francisco, if they get the number one spot, they would literally not play another road game this year. Note, we've had 2 teams host the Super Bowl and win it, Bucks and Rams, but neither of them were home for the entire postseason. The 49ers would play no more road games this year if they win at home next week against Seattle. Home for the divisional, home for the NFC Championship, and home for the Super Bowl. That's never happened before.
I didn't think about that. That's absolutely right. And they might get Fred Warner back, who's probably a top 3 or 4 most important player on defense in the entire league. They'd get him back potentially, as according to the broadcast,
I think
around
San
the NFC
Francisco's
Championship
got something going here. I think they got something going.
And I love Purdy. Are you a Purdy guy?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great story what's going on right now. They haven't lost since he returned. We know all the doubts about Purdy, but, I mean, the plays he was making last night, unbelievable.
And he was great on Monday Night Football against Rivers as well. I thought that was the best quarterback game against the Rivers, the Colt-led team last year, and the Colts defense was completely Swiss cheese.
That scramble he made last night where he evaded the defenders, then he stepped up past them, and then it looked like he was going to run, but instead he flipped it to, I think it was the tight end in the corner of the end zone. Incredible.
Yeah, Tonjes, yeah. And the reason about him is because he's good in a big game. He's played well in big games before.
Yep.
You actually like him in a big game. So that's why it's a good spot. Because he's good. He's played well against. He went toe-to-toe with Mahomes in the postseason game, and he had a chance to win. He did everything he could for them to win the game. So
I think they got something going, San Francisco. I do.
Dangerous team. I agree. Zaz, what's going on with Anajar and Levine? Tell us where they can listen to more from you when they want to find you.
Zaslow Show 2.0, wherever you get your podcast. We cover everything Miami, everything South Florida sports, and every episode is presented by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. So please download, like, comment, subscribe, Zaslow Show 2.0. And I'm pretty sure on your guys' air as well on 106.3 FM. The rest of the week, I am hosting Clinton and Friends from 10 a to noon Eastern time. So you guys will be able to hear me there the rest of this week also.
Looking forward to that. Zaz, take a listen to Clinton and Friends throughout the week on ESPN Radio or the Zaslow Show 2.0. Zaz, appreciate it. Looking forward to talking again soon, all right?
Awesome, Colin. See you, man. Thank you.
That's Jonathan Zaslow, the Zaslow Show 2.0. Colin Russo and Christian Cat. We'll close things out, do a little game plan for greatness, have some fun here. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Theo, and let's be real, moving sucks. Boxes, packing, all that stress, who's got time for it? That's why there's Safebound Moving and Storage. We handle everything. Whether you're moving local or long distance, we offer a headache-free experience, just the way moving should be. Get your free quote today at safeboundmoving.com, because every move should feel safe with Safebound.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Touchdown! Racetrack is proud to support our local high school football teams. Whether it's Friday night lights or tailgate parties, Racetrack has whatever gets you going to fuel all the gridiron excitement this fall. Grab your favorite snacks, crispy chips, delicious Nathan's hot dogs, sweet treats, or our house-made pizza slices. Don't forget to quench your thirst with a variety of ice-cold drinks. Racetrack, your one-stop shop to fuel your football Fridays.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Attention business owners, the next several months are going to be super busy. Why not let us take some of the burden off of you? Get the help you need from Intelligent Office in Palm Beach Gardens. Professional live receptionists to answer, screen, and forward all of your calls to you live. Why do you need a virtual assistant? No high salaries, no holidays or sick pay, no call-outs, no turnover, and no additional equipment. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to learn more how we can help you streamline your day.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You got to understand that if you're going over to your New Year's Eve fireworks party or you're going to go and watch your favorite team over the next couple of weeks, you got to understand that sometimes there's not always food served at these events. I need a little pick-me-up. Hold on, it's 9:30 and we don't have anything to dinner? All right, well, you stop by a racetrack, get some hot food, and you're good to go.
It's not your daddy's gas station when it comes to food, man. A racetrack has got the goods. Maybe it's something sweet because they've got froyo there with a incredible toppings bar. You will find what you need at Swirl World, located inside of every racetrack. Or maybe you want something in a cup, maybe something frozen. I love my frozen Hawaiian Punch. That's my go-to every single time. I scan my Racetrack Rewards app or put my phone number in, and I get a medium frozen Hawaiian Punch for just $1 every time. I love that. How about the hot food? Nathan's Hot Dogs. You warm up the bun inside the racetrack, and you get buy one, get one for $1. And you've got a toppings bar for the hot dogs, too. Racetrack introduced me to Sweet Relish, and I've never looked back. Racetrack has whatever gets you going. They've got good breakfast there, too. If you get a small coffee, a hash brown, and a regular breakfast sandwich, it's only $4. That's for a limited time only, so make sure you take advantage of that breakfast deal fast. Racetrack, whatever gets you going.
Christian, are you a New Year's Eve guy?
No. It's just a day off. I don't revere New Year's Eve whatsoever. I'm so happy college football exists because it gives me a reason to look forward to that day. I don't make New Year's Eve plans whatsoever. I'm more excited for Stranger Things than any types of plans that people will try to make.
Yeah, I think it's an overrated holiday as well. It's not. It doesn't do a lot for me.
Is it even the turning of the new year in general, in its theory, right? In the grandiose, in the new year, new me, I think is overrated. Apart from even just the going out on the holiday.
I like the New Year stuff because I think it just puts a close on holiday season. Holiday season can get out of hand. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You're a lot of travel, it's a lot of spending, it's a lot of eating. You're with family all the time. Like that type of thing, I think can get out of hand. So I actually like kind of the turning of the leaf because it means NFL playoffs. It means you're sort of can get your life together a little bit post-holiday season. And it also means that you got a lot of good sports ahead with NFL playoffs. Then you get into a little bit of a dead period with February because you're looking forward to, I guess, opening day of the MLB and spring training and then the NCAA tournament. Get to March, get through March, then you're in Masters season, then you're in the NBA and NHL and the Stanley Cup postseason, and then you're off and running, and that's what I like. So in terms of the sports calendar, it's a good part of the year.
Yeah, I do love end-of-year montages. I'm a sucker for a 10-minute video that encapsulates the year in sports, maybe a year-end best of something I'm listening to. I like the end-of-year montages. I will say that.
Will you be caught dead-handed counting down from 10 if we caught you in a bad moment and you're counting down from 10 before the ball drops?
Wait, you're saying
if Christian's out, but occasionally you're gonna sing out loud 10, 9. You're gonna do that?
No. I don't.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Once Christmas is over, that's the holiday. Christmas is the holiday for me, and everything else is just bonus days off and seeing family and all that. New Year's Eve is a non-factor in my brain.
I agree. Not a big-time holiday. That's Christian Cat. Colin Russo. Russo and Rizzo continues on. We're here. We get the fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet up till 7 p.m. Get you into Monday Night Football a little bit. Some of the best bets of the weekend. Stick around for it. Come back after this right here on ESPN 106.3.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want it all. Denver's bringing their nuggets, but Miami's heating up the fryer. Things are going to get crispy. Heat and Nuggets at 7 here on ESPN 106.3.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Colin, have you checked out Vitacost Sport Certified Marketplace?
Vitacost? I love Vitacost!
Right? It's a full online sports marketplace. Over 500 performance products from trusted brands like Vega, Thorne, Vital Proteins, and Muscle Milk, all free from banned substances.
So no guessing, no label scrubbing, just clean fuel to train harder and recover smarter.
You got it. And don't forget, save 20% with code ESPN20 at sportcertified.com.
Fuel clean, train smarter. Try Sports Certified by Vitacost today.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Anna Jar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio
The following
station.
is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during this program are solely that of the hosts or guests of this program and not of ESPN 1063 or Good Karma Brands.
Yeah, here we go! 2 hours are not enough.
And that'll do it for regulation.
Welcome to the 5th quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Take this one to overtime.
Russo and Rizzo bring you the stories, the takes, and the breakdowns that go beyond the final whistle. We head into overtime. The 5th quarter starts now.
The 5th quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo and Christian Cat. No Mike Rizzo today. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Checks at ESPN West Palm and ESPN South Florida. Check us out in the ESPN South Florida app and on our all of our socials as we got you good coverage throughout the sports week. It's December the 29th, 2025. We got 2.5 days left in the year of 2025. Then we get on to 2026. You got Miami taking on Ohio State on New Year's Eve. You got a trifecta of good college football playoff games in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs, all in different bowl game spots, Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl, you name it, they got it. So looking forward to that, including the Orange Bowl, which is going to have Oregon and Texas Tech here in South Florida. That is going to be on New Year's Day, the opener. So we'll be live on site from 9 to 11 on here on ESPN 106.3. For stay tuned for that. We're presented by Hard Rock Bet. Go download the app today because Hard Rock Bet is your place to get in on the action. Whether it is the college football playoff games, whether it's college basketball, which is about to gear up conference play, NBA, which had a good couple of weeks, including a pretty good Christmas slate of NBA games. That was sort of a Christmas household with the bad NFL games. But nonetheless, you can bet on all that. You can do player props game by game, string together parlays, or if you don't even know what to bet, go onto the Discover page and see what other users are putting together, see what type of deals they have in terms of profit boosts, all this stuff with the action. You can get involved. It is so easy. The best part is you bet just $5 on the app. You win that first $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bets deposited into your account if you win that bet. So that's on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go download today and go get in on the action with this good sports week upcoming. It is Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions do apply. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. Week 17 in the NFL away and done with. You got games tonight in the Rams and the Falcons to kind of close out the NFL Week 17 slate of action. We already know what the schedule is going to look like next week in Week 18. You get two openers. You got two total win and in games. The loser is out and the winners are in. That is the Steelers and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And that is the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is the opening game on Saturday on ESPN and ABC. And you're going to also watch the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks battle for the 1 seed and the bye head-to-head in a divisional matchup that we haven't seen since Week 1 of the NFL season, a rare Week 1 and Week 17 divisional matchup. That is all upcoming. Those are the three games that really matter outside of basically a bunch of nothing on the schedule. And then you also have Rams and Falcons tonight. The only implications is the Rams want to win the game because the Rams sitting at the 6 seed right now, they will jump to the 5 seed if and when whoever loses their next game, whether that be Seattle to the Niners or that be the 49ers to Seattle. The Rams would leapfrog the team that will lose that game. So that will be
Have we done the tie math yet?
Have we done the tie math?
The tie math. What if they tie that game? Do the Rams
the
still
Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers?
Yeah.
If they tie that game, Seattle gets the 1 seed. The 49ers would be 12-4-1. That would mean they would finish at 12-4-1. The Rams can at best finish with 13 wins. 13 wins would get them the 5 seed.
Gotcha.
Right. So we'll see what happens there. But nonetheless, I've been doing the math. I think over the divisional record, Rams definitely get it over Seattle. I'm not sure about San Francisco. I'm going to have to do the math there on my tiebreaker math. Nonetheless,
I love the tie. The ties are my favorite. I will forever go back to 2022 when the Chargers and the Raiders could have tied to keep the Steelers out of the playoffs. And then, who was it? Staley called the timeout and prevented his Chargers from winning.
Yeah, I hate. So you're on one side. I absolutely hate the ties. I think that this has killed the Green Bay season because you're sitting here thinking with the tie, there's absolutely no tiebreaker opportunities. I like when divisional matchups and conference matchups matter. I like when it can make or break a team's seeding and or them getting into the postseason. So I'm a big fan of the non-ties, so we could actually have some tiebreakers. But so that's the big games to look forward to. The Rams actually has some implications, so they want to stay ahead because if they get to the 5 seed, they will play the winner of Carolina and Tampa Bay. Another thing that we could say, a little caveat here. So if the Falcons, who, by the way, are mathematically eliminated at 6-9, if they win their last 2 games of the season, that would be winning today against the Los Angeles Rams at home, and then winning next week at home again against the Saints, then they would finish at 8-9. If they finish at 8-9 and the Carolina Panthers, who are at 8-8, lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 7-9, and then they're all 3 teams are at 8-9, you'd think that the Tampa Bay game, if they win that game, they win the NFC South. Wrong. If the Atlanta goes 2-0 and they finish at 8-9, it's a 3-way tie. 3-way tie at that point goes to divisional record and record against each other on top of that, that would mean that Carolina would still get the NFC South bid. Because in division, Tampa Bay is 2-3, Atlanta's 2-3, and Carolina's 3-2. So that would be when they go back and forth. Then they go to what's your record amongst each other. And Carolina went 2-0 against Atlanta, and Tampa Bay only went 1-1. So that would be the round robin that kills Tampa Bay Buccaneers if Atlanta goes 2-0. How about that?
Okay, so Buccaneers fans are rooting for the Rams undoubtedly. Just take that out of the equation.
Just to get that out of here.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, if they beat the Rams somehow, some way tonight, they could absolutely, just to spoil somebody in the division, they could absolutely beat the Saints on Sunday. And the Saints, who have played well, won 4 in a row, they could. If the Falcons go 2-0, then all of a sudden, Panthers, they'll play at the same time. The game will be done before. But so that means you could have Tampa Bay beat Carolina on Saturday afternoon, thinking they're in the postseason. And if the Falcons somehow win tonight, then the Falcons can beat the Saints tomorrow and knock Tampa Bay out.
Wow. Okay.
That would be football. That would be football gods 101. Because Tampa Bay has absolutely no business being in the postseason. That team is a joke. That team is a joke. Carolina at least has respect because they're consistently inconsistent. Buccaneers just fell off a map. I'm out on Tampa
the
Bay.
Buccaneers look like a Super Bowl contender halfway through the year.
Baker Mayfield's getting MVP votes through 6 weeks.
You blink and they are just off a cliff. What exactly? Because they were getting more healthy. I don't get it. They got more healthy throughout the season. Godwin came back, and they're just got Bucky Irving. What was his weird off the field?
Yeah, he was out for the entire
season.
season. Nobody knew what was going on with him.
Came
Absolutely.
back. He's on the field now. Baker Mayfield's just fine, but apparently he's not playing like he's just fine. And the Buccaneers have just a precipitous fall.
And it's weird because they actually started the season beating a lot of good teams. They beat the Texans that first game of the year. That's when they had the 3 straight, basically game-winning drives in 3 consecutive weeks, including the Jets. But so you didn't really know where they stood. Then they had a competitive game against the Eagles where the Eagles had a huge second half. And then on top of that, they beat the Seahawks in that great game in Seattle where it was kind of a shootout. And then they beat the Niners back-to-back weeks. And I believe that was a Mac Jones game because Brock Purdy was not playing, and it was a Mac Jones game. But that's a heck of a stretch right there. You know, they beat the Texans. All right, fine. You lose close to the Eagles, then you beat the Seahawks, then you lose close to the Niners, and then you beat the Niners. I mean, then they lose to the Lions, and then it's all starting to fall apart because they had the close loss against the Patriots. Then they lost to the Bills. That's when Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns, and then they got killed by the Rams, and then all in the way we go. And then they fall apart and lose 7 of their last 8 games. 7 of their last 8 games. That team does not deserve to make the postseason. For all I care about, Atlanta should win tonight so we can have 2 ways and way to ensure in which Tampa Bay does not make the postseason. I am Team Carolina deserves a home game. Speaking of this, Christian, this is the 2nd year in a row that we are going to have divisional seeding triumph overall record.
Yeah.
The Lions brought this up last year, and Lions were actually the beneficiary of this because they beat Minnesota. But Lions last year went to the NFL and said, let's just make the 1 through 7 based on record, and the top record gets it, and you don't worry about the divisions, and you make it like that. And the NFL sort of shot it down, sort of deferred on it, and this is now going to be the 2nd straight year where you're going to have a team that, in all likelihood, could very well be under 500 or very well hosting the 13-win Rams. You think that's a problem? You think that's something worth fixing? We talked about it last year. I'm curious where you stand now.
Yeah, I don't like it. Who was it? The Saints were below 500, or was it the Seahawks? When they won their division, that was the Beastquake run in that massive playoff game in the wild card round. I do think it's a very unfair advantage for a team that's being rewarded because of how bad their opposition was regionally and in terms of the conference they were put in decades and decades beforehand. So, yeah, I think that the talent is separated enough in the NFL to consider records equal enough. Yes, we talk about the Patriots, how they've only beaten one winning record team, but benefit of the doubt is the Patriots are a really good team, and their record should indicate so they would be rewarded for the season they had. And we shouldn't be punishing teams that just happen to play in the same division as a really good team, which giving them a wild card seed, including their wild card berth.
I'm pro keep divisions important.
Really?
But I do understand.
Well, it is important. That's your ticket. Like, that's how you get in the playoffs. It's important enough to me.
I know, but what the lines are saying is that wouldn't necessarily matter. Unless you get into the postseason and it doesn't matter in terms of seeding. That's one thing. But I understand. I like pro keep divisions important. I like the idea that the home game's on the line.
So the Lions said you're not guaranteed
No,
a playoff
I don't think
team
it
out
was
of the
that.
division?
It was along the lines of the actual seeding.
Okay, yeah,
seeding.
that's right. Like, you can clinch it. Like in the college football playoff, they've kind of roundabout ways said you can clinch a playoff berth if you win your power conference, which we've realized actually isn't the case, because if your conference stinks like ACC this year, well, you're not actually guaranteed anything. But I guarantee a berth, not guaranteed a home game. That's pretty nuts.
Well, that's how they keep the Seattle Seahawk Ram game. I know there's a bye on the line, but that's how they keep that game important. That's how they keep that there's something at stake in the Thursday night game when both of whom have already gotten 10-plus wins and they're likely going to be in the postseason regardless of the fact. I think they want that to be important because you're fighting for a home game. So I understand it. I understand the complaint about it. But the way that I think there's merit to it is the divisions and the schedules are getting so much bigger. We're going to go to 18 teams eventually, or 18 games eventually. We're going to go to 20 weeks, 18 games, finish on President's Day. It's going to be a 6.5 month season. When you have 18 games and you get 6 against your division, should a third of your schedule mark whether you get a home game or not in the postseason? Probably not. So I understand the argument there when there's that many games. But when it was 16, it was a little different. 6 of the 16 is quite a bit. 6 of the 18, the percentage of which that matters diminishes quite a bit. So I understand the argument if and when it expands. But I do like the idea. I think it's fun. I think it's fun that Jacksonville and Houston are still having important games because of home games. The reason that Jacksonville has to play hard this weekend against Tennessee is because Jacksonville needs to keep Houston off their tail, because if Houston wins, Jacksonville loses somehow, some way, Jacksonville loses a home game. So it's a matter of keeping the games important. So I think that's what they're trying to argue there. And just getting into the postseason, a lot different than just getting a playoff home game, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because, maybe Houston would be locked in if Pittsburgh didn't exist, and Pittsburgh was 9-7 right now, technically the 4th seed in the AFC. If they didn't exist, they were sitting at the 7 because they had the worst record of it all. Houston would be sitting there at the 4. And then all of a sudden, maybe it'd be interesting because you'd have the Chargers and Buffalo still fighting for a home game. Maybe that'd be important to them. But I understand the perspective. I really do. I'm not sure if it's worth changing because we've dealt with it 2 years in a row. And it's one thing is clear. There is an imbalance of power in divisions. There is an imbalance of power. Now, to build on this, lastly, the AFC South was known as the punching bag division for a long time. The AFC East has been known as a punching bag division for a long time. Now the AFC East has 2 really good teams, and the AFC South has 3 really good to pretty good teams. The Titans are sort of trending upward. I think this is just how the nature of the calendar of the NFL goes. And the NFC North, the NFC North used to stink. And the Lions used to stink. The Bears used to stink. The Vikings were, one year on, 1 year off. And the Packers were always good. So I think it's just the ebbs and flows of how the divisional calendar goes, and it kind of impacts the season a little bit.
What do you think about possibly going against tradition and changing divisions in order of power, in order to disperse it as much as you can in maybe 4 to 5 year blocks, so that we don't have an era where an entire division is a walkover and they're hogging up a playoff spot every single year, despite not them having a top 7 team in their conference year over year over year.
Would you do it regionally in any way?
Yeah, sure. You know what? I think you play with the AFC, NFC side of it.
Oh, no. You'd blow it all up. There's no reason. How are you going to keep a rivalry?
I mean, there's barely any rivalries now. The NFL doesn't need rivalries to withstand. Like the
Bears, Packers. You're going to need Steelers, Ravens. You're going to need Seahawks, Niners. You're going to need stuff like that.
We still have Florida State, Florida, Miami, Florida. You can still play non-divisional games. That's perfectly fine. Those games can be guaranteed. But I think you mix up AFC, NFC South teams, mix up NFC, AFC North teams, which I know the AFC South and the NFC South, until the AFC turned it on this year, wouldn't be not very good if you combine the two anyway. But I think that's a possibility. In terms of it's a possibility, I'm saying it could work.
So if you were to cut up divisions, you would even it out. You would try to even it out as best you can.
Yeah. I think that every division should be as equally as powerful as possible in terms of the entertainment factor and the ethical factor in terms of determining the best teams in the league every year.
Teams have bad years. That's the problem. Like the Niners had a bad year last year. I mean, that was because of the injury bug. That stuff happens. So I think that the unpredictability and the win. Remember, what is a Super Bowl window to you and I? What, 2-3 years maybe? Like if we're lucky, if you're a dynasty, yeah, you'll be around for a while. But outside of that, your window's 3 years for the average team. 2-3 years to, I guess, make a declaration on where they lie in terms of rivalry, division, who you play twice. I think changing that would make things difficult because it's just so unpredictable. Like, is it unpredictable? Is it unpredictable this year that the Chiefs really did fall off and the Chiefs are a mess now and the Chiefs are that's unpredictable.
Like,
so I think
you know
stuff
what?
like that goes into it.
You'll like this, soccer guy Colin. You almost treat it like the World Cup, where you have teams that are in a certain tier. They will all be separated into their own tier, and the Chiefs would have been in that tier. The Chiefs would have been considered an elite of the elites, and you wouldn't put the Chiefs and the Bills in the same division. That wouldn't make any sense.
You do pots. You want it every 4 or 5 years based on the previous 4 or 5 years and where a committee of some sort would think that these teams lie, or you want to do it by metrics, however you want to do it.
And like when you have a significant player change where maybe someone's quarterback got injured in the preseason, well, now you got to put the schedule up early. Maybe he got injured at the end of the previous season where even though the Chiefs were 15-2 last year, Mahomes went down with an injury. He won't play next year, so we can't consider the Chiefs 15-2
or better off, you
team.
keep them there. You can't because they earned it. You keep them there for 5 years, and all of a sudden, hold on, the Chiefs have a tough schedule now because they have to replace him, and they're a pot one team, which means that they're not going to have another pot one team in their division. You following?
I'm following, but I think that would be advantageous for the Chiefs. I don't think that would be advantageous for the league.
Hey, but you're not going to get it right every time.
But you introduce the human checks and balances of the situation and determine who is expected to be, maybe even consider Vegas odds in terms of Super Bowl odds. I don't know. I just want to get the best possible product out there, and I do not think that the NFC South has put together a good enough season to get a playoff home game. And maybe I'm being too radical. Maybe I'm a problem with today's society, and I go the extreme side of things in order to correct a minor problem. But you know what? Blazing a trail here today. And I worked this out with you on the air today. I did not think of that idea until we started talking about it on air. So maybe we're in a very powerful area. Maybe someone's driving around right now that has their hands on the NFL and said, you know what? That radio host, I don't know who he is, but he's got a point.
Maybe he does say that. I don't. It's not in terms of trying to create a consistent level of competition. It's not an awful idea, but Eagles, Cowboys, famous rival. Like you're acting like there's not a lot of big rivals. There are. So I don't know if it's completely fair.
But you know what? Those are rivalries that matter to the fan bases and not the world or the nation.
Yeah, but that's how any rivalry works. Rivalries don't matter to a lot of.
That's not true. People will turn on the Iron Bowl.
Rivalries are supposed to matter to the fan bases. That's why they're rivalries. They matter to the individual's fan bases.
But that rivalry is appealing as a product for non-members of the rivalry. That's not the case in the NFL. Like, I don't care about Buccaneers Saints. Those two teams hate each other. I don't give a damn. But we can, we don't need that.
You're so anti-rivalry, but this is every sport.
It's not really anti-rivalry. It's that it's acknowledging that they don't really exist compared to other sports.
So it's 2026. If we went 5 years in the past, you have Drew Brees and the Saints that have won 13 games with Brees. They got Brady there with the Buccaneers winning 13 games as well. And you got the Panthers are not that good. The Falcons, up and down, not that good, but the Falcons still had, I believe Matt Ryan at that point. So it's That's 5 years ago. That's a lot has changed in that 5 year. I think there's just such a fast turnover. You wouldn't be able to nail it.
Fine.
You wouldn't be able to nail it.
3 years. So set up for 3.
The best way to do it, if you were to change anything, is just make it an automatic bid to the postseason.
Okay.
Have the Panthers be the 7th seed.
I think that's fine, and I think they would be happy with that.
As in the Panthers or the NFL?
The Panthers should be happy with that.
Yeah. I keep divisions big. I like divisions. Keep divisions big. And I'm in a tough division. Jacksonville's. You don't think I want Jacksonville to rest their starters this weekend? No, but they got to play. They got to play hard because they lose this game and Houston wins. Houston takes the home game. I like that. I'm a fan of that. So I'm pro keep divisions big and keep them relevant, despite the Carolina Panthers getting a home game potentially out of this, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have both been very erratic throughout the entire season. And the other end of things, you got Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Hey, Christian should be the biggest component of this rule, because he might get a home game against Houston. You think Houston wants to play in that spot?
And
absolutely not.
Here's why I'm valid. I'm the same guy who wants to get rid of special teams, and the Baltimore Ravens, historically in the past 15 years, have largely benefited from a third phase of the game. Like, Harbaugh's roots are special teams. They had the best kicker maybe of all time for almost 2 decades. So yeah, I'm playing it fair. Just because the current setup of automatic home game for division winner would benefit my Ravens, and just because special teams did benefit my Ravens, I think for the greater good, both of which should be abolished.
Good shot by Cade Chumson of ESPN West Palm. He tells me that the last time a conference number 4 seed had a better record than the subsequent wildcard 5 seed was 2021.
So worst division winner versus best wildcard team.
The last time that they actually had a fair, better record on either side was 2021.
Yeah.
How about that? So this happens every year. Win your division. That's why the divisional games matter, Christian. That's why Seahawks-Rams, huge game on Thursday Night Football. Because losing that game was the most implicating game of the Rams' entire season. Takes them out of the first seed overall seed running, takes them out of the divisional race running. Most important game of the season. That was why it was one of the better games of the season.
But no, it's different in college football and pro football, because the champion of the NFC South would not be 21-point underdogs to the best wild card
there's not
team.
as much discrepancy of talent. It's not as large.
The Ole Miss Tulane situation, that might be a deeper seated issue in that situation.
Right.
But with this, it's comparable, I guess. That's
where the Panthers play the same teams that the Rams play, and whereas Tulane doesn't even play teams that play in the same sport as Ole Miss. That's the problem there. So not a perfect solution, but making progress.
No,
I'm sort of a little traditionalist in this sense, but I could listen to the idea of just getting them into the postseason and just having them seated that way.
I would love combining the AFC East and the NFC East. You're telling me you wouldn't sign up for 3 years of Eagles, Bills? We would have it every single year because of my new mega conference idea. Actually, never mind. We wouldn't. We'd probably have Patriots, Cowboys consistently.
If they were changing it this year, and they were combined. You're onto something with keep the East. You had 8 teams, put together 2 conferences every 3 years. Done. Put together 2 divisions. That's the way, I don't like that.
And
but
the whole
it really is not a horrible.
The wrench in the gear is in 20 years.
It's just very anti-tradition. It's very anti-tradition of the NFL.
Well, so is having a team and or division overseas. But that's coming because we're gonna have the.
Tokyo Tigers. Yeah. They got a road game at Green Bay.
The way you schedule it, it's possible to have an entire division in Europe. And you just kind of take a month road
That's not going to happen. I don't think so.
I think it's
They're just going to have the NFL's next step is they want to have every team play one international game, and they want to have an international game a week outside of maybe week 17, week 18. They're going to have a 16-game package that they will bundle up and sell to Netflix for $3 billion. For every Sunday morning, there is going to be an international game. That is if I had to put together a plan, that would be it.
That's a 5-year plan. I'm talking about the macro. I'm taking a step back, looking at 2050, where young Colin Russo Jr., his son's favorite team is not the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's actually the London Jaguars because they are the flagship team in that UK NFL division. That's coming. That's easier than having just one team out there. It's easier to have 4 teams out there.
All right. We're mega conference, London division. We're in the rabbit hole. This is what Hour 5 feels like.
I mean,
that's
well, you know Tony Khan and Shad Khan.
They're not going to London. I'll tell you that right now. Jacksonville's not going to London. They're putting $2 billion into stadium renovations. They're not doing that because they want to go to Wembley.
It's like an HGTV show. They're building that stadium to flip it.
To who? For what?
I don't know.
For what? For concerts?
MLS taking off. Maybe Messi wants to get a little. He wants to see.
Messi wants to go live at Pontevedra.
He picks up the game of golf.
He wants to go live at Neptune or Jacksonville Beach. Christian Cat, Colin Russo. The fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet. We'll get into some of the big underdogs we could have taken over the weekend. Some of Monday Night Football's best bets. That's all to come. The fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Not all moves reflect your lifestyle. At Safebound Luxury, we provide white glove services tailored for high-end homes, fine art, and designer furnishings. Our expert team ensures every piece is packed, transported, and placed with precision and care. If you're relocating a residence that deserves more than a basic move, schedule your private consultation today at safeboundluxury.com to experience the difference. This isn't just a move. This is the art of moving.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Long ago, the seas be whispering tales of the lost flute, a treasure so rare it shows itself but once each turn of the sun. All this searching, and I found it. Publix, this be where X marks the spot?
Discounted tickets, limited time.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Advance tickets can save you more than half, so get them before they vanish on January 15th.
Limited time deal.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, West Palm Beach.
Hi, I'm Mike Caruso, your clerk at Court of Palm Beach County. Did you know that right now scammers are targeting people like you with phone calls and fake texts, saying you owe money or face arrest for an unpaid traffic ticket? Don't fall for it. The clerk's office will never call or text you to collect on a traffic violation. We're here to let you know what's real and what's a ripoff. Learn the signs, avoid scams. Go to mypalmbeachclerk.com/scams to learn more.
All the biggest games, all the packed stadiums, all the moments lead to this. The college football playoff is here. Can the Hurricanes challenge the defending champion Ohio State? Can Indiana continue a historic season with a win over Alabama? Can the mighty Bulldogs of Georgia fend off the Ole Miss Rebels? This big week of college football playoffs on ESPN 106.3 is presented by Twin Peaks, Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning, and the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans.
Don't fumble your finances. Whether you're running a business or running plays, Jay Zolo & Associates keeps your books tight and your stress light. With nearly 30 years of experience, Jay Zolo is your go-to coach for QuickBooks, offering expert consulting, one-on-one training, and full-service bookkeeping. Jay Zolo & Associates, simplifying your books so you can win on and off the field. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
It's overtime. It's sudden death.
13Z, Devery Henderson, Chris Ivory, green right nasty, Z peel, fake slash 37, Buster Bluff, naked right X post, wide bite. That'll be the first call.
This is the fifth quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Well, you had a fun Week 17. You got Rams-Falcons in Atlanta tonight on Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:15, 8:20, so stay tuned for that. We'll give some of our best picks momentarily. But it's the fifth quarter with Colin Russo and Christian Cat. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm and ESPN the South Florida app. All those great spots. Couple little underdog matchups that we had throughout the week, throughout the game. Let's get into some of where we could have made some money if Christian and I thought a little smarter in terms of putting together our heads for some underdog picks. Let's put together a hypothetical parlay.
Yeah, dude, the holidays mean underdogs, apparently, in 2025, because underdogs, if you bet them against the spread in the NFL, you're undefeated. Thanksgiving, Christmas, it has been all about the dogs, believe it or not. And who do you want to start with, Colin?
I like the Vikings against the Lions. That was a tough one because Jared Goff, 5 turnovers. He was a mess in the game. 10 points, 23-10 to Max Brosmer. It's absolutely unacceptable on Christmas Day. I don't care where you play or who you play. You cannot lose to somebody who threw for 51 yards passing. You cannot lose to that. That is unacceptable behavior. Jared Goff was terrible in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs did absolutely nothing. Detroit losing to Minnesota. They had to be a big underdog there. Am I wrong?
Plus 280. Minus 7.5 was the spread. Money line for the Minnesota Vikings at home on Christmas, plus 280. And let's go down the road. At Hard Rock Stadium, Dolphins, nothing to play for. Buccaneers, especially considering the Panthers score, well, everything to play for. And the Dolphins beat the Buccaneers. Oh, it was a disgusting game. It was a weird game. I believe that was Quinn Ewers' first win as an NFL quarterback. And on the money line, the Miami Dolphins at home were plus 210. But we talked about it earlier. What has gone on in Tampa Bay in the past 2 months?
Something's up with that team. Really. Emeka Egbuka's fallen off the face of the earth. They got Mike Evans back. It's just a bizarre bunch. Baker Mayfield has played terrible. There was no doubt about that. They have not been able to get anything going.
Oh, we haven't gotten to this yet. We have a new favorite for Rookie of the Year in the NFL.
Oh, my guy, Tyler Shuck.
Who?
He was awesome. He's an awesome player.
Heck, add him to the parlay. They were plus 1.5 on the spread.
No problem. No problem. They've won 4 in a row. Won 4 in a row. He's 5-3 as a starter.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's our guy. I'm a Tyler Shuck guy. Good for him. Saints were in the quarterback carousel. And then all of a sudden you take a flyer and everybody – that was the game. That was the pick that everybody thought was a major problem with letting Shedeur Sanders walk, and they took Tyler Shuck. And look at Tyler Shuck having a great year, going to be Rookie of the Year. And Shedeur Sanders had despite him – this is my next underdog – despite him winning, was terrible in the game. You can't sit here and tell me that Shedeur had a great game. He was a rough watch. Nonetheless, Browns win, beat the Steelers 13-6. What was their odds there on beating the Steelers, even though it was at home?
So after Sunday's game, that is now 9 consecutive home teams winning in the Browns versus Steelers rivalry. It's crazy with how bad the Browns have been with that playoff season mixed in there under Joe Flacco. Well, the Browns were still underdogs. The money line was plus 185 for the Browns to beat the Steelers, and they did just that. You look at if you want to do the NFL as scripted conversation, I'm a Ravens fan. The NFL wanted Steelers-Ravens with stakes in Week 18. You take away Steelers-Ravens in next week's slate, we have another conversation with how bad the final week of the regular season is. I knew that was going to go the Browns' way. I just knew it.
That was a trap game.
I didn't know how, but did you see how bad the Steelers are against really bad teams? I believe they are 0-4-1 against teams that have 13 or more losses.
Oh, my God.
Like, what? It's defying the odds of physics because you have Steelers that have been above 500 for the past 20 years. It doesn't make any sense.
Very bizarre team. Bizarre team. Terrible, terrible, ugly loss. And the Steelers, who have played well as of recently, there's a great win they had over the Lions. It was a good win they had over the Dolphins where they dominated them. They had a great win over the Ravens. DK Metcalf getting suspended is really going to burn them throughout the season. That's really going to burn them. But the Browns over the Steelers is my last underdog pick on top of Tyler Shuck. So, Christian, what does that come out to be?
Well, hey, we're not done yet because there were bowl games.
All right, so what do you have? What do you want to include there? I have a couple in mind if you want to do that. But
I want to go to the Military Bowl where East Carolina beat Pittsburgh. The marquee win on Notre Dame's resume. East Carolina beat Pittsburgh 23-17. It was a fun game to watch. I was sitting at a sports bar in Charleston, South Carolina, watching touchdowns getting taken off the board. Next play, touchdown scored by the other team. They were plus 380, were the Pirates of East Carolina beating ACC foe Pittsburgh by 6. Again, plus 380 on the money line was East Carolina.
How about a good one here? Win for the ACC. Virginia over Missouri. Plus 150, 155 in the game to beat Missouri. Missouri went right down the field, scored in 4 minutes. That was the only points they had all day. They had a touchdown the first 4 minutes of the game. Their first drive took 3 minutes, 74 yards, touchdown. Done. Finished. After that, absolutely nothing. Punt, missed field goal. Interception, punt, downs, terrible.
Was there players not playing because Virginia's ranked 19th, Missouri unranked?
Well, Missouri had some bad losses to finish the year. They didn't have their starting quarterback playing, but they had Ahmad Hardy playing, who's their best player offensively.
Well, the spread in that game was 4.5, plus 150 for UVA on the money line, and that'll give us our parlay, our underdog parlay, where we would be retiring today if we put some cash on it. But we'll settle for just a cup of coffee. $5 parlay. On all of the underdogs we just mentioned, $5 will turn you into $3,840.
Oh, my gosh.
For that 6-leg parlay, one of them was a pick'em.
Jeez.
With the Saints beating the Titans, and the rest were dogs. How about that? Underdogs of the weekend presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Yeah, they didn't have Bo Pribula playing in that Missouri game. That's your guy, Christian, who entered the transfer portal yet again, so nobody knows where he's going. But that's what that's it. That's where they get burned. They had a quarterback playing. But you scored in the first drive. You can't score in the first drive and go 0 for the rest of it, and then all of a sudden complain because it's an ACC school. SEC is so bad in bowl season. Call it because they don't take the game seriously. They get too much turnover. They're always firing coaches. Whatever you want to call it. The SEC has a chance to prove themselves every single year in bowl season, and they never do.
I follow this Twitter account called Message Board Geniuses, and essentially they just jump on every single university's college football message board who's either losing a game they should win or maybe in a coaching carousel. And Missouri fans, not very happy with that loss against Virginia. They were downright devastated. We're talking about firing Eli Drinkowitz, who was looking at was rumored to have been looking at other jobs that have been opened up this offseason, and they're not happy with their guy.
Yeah, that's a rough spot. That's a rough spot. I don't know how to feel about the SEC because I do think the SEC teams are better than the crowd, but you're going to have to win a bowl game eventually. You're going to have to win a big game eventually.
Yeah.
And I am SEC defender. Not blind defender, but I'm SEC defender. You can't lose these games. You can't. I know these bowl games, you want to say they don't matter. Come on.
But but it loses me when we're trying to talk about performance of head coaches, and one of the lines that they use is bowl record.
Oh, yeah.
I don't consider, I do not care if you're really good in bowl games or really bad in bowl games unless those games are playing for playoffs.
And you also, Greg Olsen said it during the broadcast during the Jacksonville Colts game yesterday. They were asking about the bowl game sets that they have throughout the week because, you got Tennessee, Illinois coming up, whatever. And Greg Olsen said, he's like, the thing about these bowl games in college football that college football struggles with is you got to go into the game. You got to figure out who's playing and who's not. You need to you need to get it too deep and find the depth chart and put X's on wherever these players are transferring or plan to transfer and they're not playing in the game or going to the draft or whatever it might be. And he's like, that's a big blemish. And half the time you don't even know who's playing in these games. And he's right. So That's why you, on one hand, you can't put a ton of stock into it, but on the other side, it's one of those things where if you have an opportunity, are you that much better? Prove it. So there's our best bets their underdogs picks with Hard Rock Bet. We'll do our Monday Night Football best bets, and Tulsa football on the other side of things. They have had a strange announcement. They call it the Portal House. It's going to be all access.
Wait, are you said porterhouse? Like the
Portal.
steak? Oh,
Portal.
Okay.
Portal House. Portal House. I say that 5 times fast. Portal House. All access. Coaches don't leave. 14 days straight.
A lot of cattle in Oklahoma. You can get a good portal house. Portal house.
They announced it. They gave some details. We'll get into it on the other side of things. It's the fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Touchdown! Racetrack is proud to support our local high school football teams. Whether it's Friday night lights or tailgate parties, Racetrack has whatever gets you going to fuel all the gridiron excitement this fall. Grab your favorite snacks, crispy chips, delicious Nathan's hot dogs, sweet treats, or our house-made pizza slices. Don't forget to quench your thirst with a variety of ice-cold drinks. Racetrack, your one-stop shop to fuel your football Fridays.
Football season is here, and the ultimate game day headquarters is Twin Peaks. Whether it's college Saturdays or NFL Sundays, catch every kickoff, every touchdown, every Hail Mary right here at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. From scratch-made favorites to ice-cold 29-degree draft beers, Twin Peaks is delivering all the winning plays. Looking for a stronger lineup? No one does game day like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, come for the game, stay for the experience. Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Colin, have you checked out Vitacost Sport Certified Marketplace?
Vitacost? I love Vitacost!
Right? It's a full online sports marketplace. Over 500 performance products from trusted brands like Vega, Thorne, Vital Proteins, and Muscle Milk, all free from banned substances.
So no guessing, no label scrubbing, just clean fuel to train harder and recover smarter.
You got it. And don't forget, save 20% with code ESPN20 at sportcertified.com.
Fuel clean, train smarter. Try Sports Certified by Vitacost today.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Overtime continues. This is the fifth quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
The fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. Colin, Russo, and Christian Cat with you. Christian's down at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. I'm up north. Here for the holiday season. Hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday season themselves. You got New Year's Day coming up in just about a couple of days here, 2026 on the horizon. You can start your weekend, start your week strong by going over to the Hard Rock Bet. If you already have an account, check out the bonus bets tab. You'll see that for the holiday season, Hard Rock Bet, place in there a little $20 bet that you could place on just about anything. Go game by game, go parlay, go player prop, string it all together, add more value to it. That's the type of things you could do on the Hard Rock Bet app. Get that free $20 bonus bet parlay, or if it's your first time on the app, go to the app today, bet $5. If you win that first $5 bet, get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account if you're a new player. You can do that. You can check out the Discover page and see what other users are putting together in terms of their bets, their picks, game by game. You can tap and tag along on their stuff. You can use it to get inspired on your own parlays and picks. Go league by league, anytime, any game. Futures, present, live bet, player prop, you name it, they got it. Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present, in for the wager. Terms and conditions do apply. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. All right, Christian, we got Monday Night Football tonight. What are some of the picks that we can make on the Hard Rock Bet app? The Rams are favored by 7 points, and the over-under is set at 49. Any of those scream to you? Let's put together a little 4-leg parlay to send us off into our Monday evening. What are you thinking?
I'm kind of, if I were to just pick one pick, best bet from C-Cat himself, I got that $20 bonus bet, and I'm going to place it on the over. This just screams points to me, doesn't it? Rams, Falcons, Bijan.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I suppose so.
Fountain of Youth, Kirk Cousins game.
Yeah.
We both got it on our cover 5, so it's lightning bet. We both have the Rams in this game, so I think you have to take the Rams -7. And then you have to go over on the 49. The only way I'd be convinced, I'm not going to take the Falcons, but I'd be open if they won the game, just so we could have that doomsday scenario where they beat the Saints. 3 teams in the NFC South finish 8-9, and then even with a win in the game on Saturday, Tampa Bay can still miss the postseason in favor of Carolina. That's the only thing I'd root for.
Yeah, so, that would make things interesting.
So -7 over 49, you like that parlay together?
I'm not as convinced on Rams -7 as you are.
Why?
No.
So why are you on the other side here?
In terms of the different contests we're in, there's a more likelihood of travesty for the Falcons. But when we're just picking against the spread, I like how much money is pouring in on the Rams, how many bets are pouring in on the Rams, actually, and how the line is actually shrunk. Like, who wants to line up and bet on Kirk Cousins tonight? No, nobody does. But the NFL's random. Weird things happen in the NFL. And this line has gone from 8.5 down to 7. So someone with a lot of influence and a lot of money has bet on the Falcons. Whereas if you were to ask, you walk up to the street, into every sports bar, you ask, who would you bet on here? Everyone would say Rams. I think Falcons +7's play.
You think this is the game? If there's you're overthinking, but if there's a way to view this game, is this the game that Kirk Cousins tells teams, I could still play, come get me in the offseason?
Yeah.
You're not sold on that. That is far more believable than you with the people with the power and influence placing money in the Falcons.
That's how I place my bets. I look at the percentages of the handle and the percentages of the bets. That's what I look at. Because if it's a high percentage of the bets, that means everyone who's betting $1 and $2 a game is betting on one side, whereas the people that are betting $100,000 on something are on the other side if that's a percentage of the handle, if they don't match up. That's what I'm saying there. And I'll pull up the numbers for you right now directly on this game. But that's largely how I determine what I'm going to place my hard-earned money on, not on your phony baloney X's and O's.
All right, Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns is plus 145. I like that quite a bit. I'm going to stick with the Rams here. I don't -7 over 49. Maybe we get a 37-24 game. Kirk Cousins 2 passing touchdowns. I could sign up for that any day of the week. Rams inactive tonight against the Falcons. Devontae Adams is yet again not playing. Outside of that, a couple corners. Darius Williams still not playing. So nothing crazy outside of Devontae Adams, but that clearly hasn't stopped the Rams in the past. I think Matthew Stafford wants to put a bow on his MVP case, and the Rams want to play Carolina in Carolina. Therefore, they want this game.
All right, so we'll stick with yours, and we'll keep this as a 3-bet same-game parlay on Hard Rock Bet. If you took that free $20 bonus bet and place it on this, Rams -7, the over 49, and Kirk Cousins, you took us over on the passing touchdowns, right?
I took us over on the passing touchdowns, 1.5.
$20 bonus bet gets you 115 bones, just like that. Makes sense if the Rams were going to cover in this one. The Falcons would end up throwing the ball. Maybe Kyle Pitts continues his tear. Has he been good last week? I remember 2 weeks ago.
Kyle Pitts knocked me on my fantasy playoffs. I'm not placing money on him.
Yeah. He might catch one of those touchdowns.
Bijan Robinson to record 6+ receptions on the Hard Rock Bet app is plus 155.
Oh, you want to add to it? You want to get juicier?
Yeah, why not? I have no problem with that. I'm a Bijan fan.
What was the exact number you got?
I did 6+, so I went to the specific one so I could get plus odds.
Okay. Wow.
You okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I feel like they like him in the screen game a bunch because when you give him blockers in space, they have that overhead camera.
Last 2 games, he's had 11 targets. All right? He had 8 receptions, 7 receptions, respectively, in the last 2 games. That's essentially with Cousins. All right. Give me that. No problem with that. That's a 4-leg parlay that is plus 1,000 in my...
Whoa!
My estimations are correct. That is a perfect bonus bet parlay firing, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, take advantage of that bonus bet, people. Like, seriously, it's free money. Or a free chance to win money. $20. You don't got to put any money in to get it. It's just right into your account right now.
There you go. Place it. It's on the Hard Rock Bet app today. All right, I like that quite a bit. Did you see Tulsa announced that they are putting together a, however you want to call it, a portal house?
Yeah, I still am trying to conceptualize this. Tulsa as in the college football team. Tulsa.
That's correct. Tulsa, the college football team. They're calling it January 2nd to 16th, the Portal House. Film room, recruiting ops, all access, all under one roof.
An all-access look inside the transfer portal. They're creating a reality show?
That's my read.
I feel like this is only going to make Tulsa look like a punchline and not a platform. Am I crazy there?
Trey Lamb, the head football coach at Tulsa, came out. He quote tweeted it on Twitter. You can check it out today. He said it's going to be home base for 14 days straight, 45 to 50 visits in 14 days. Coaches need somewhere to host/sleep. School is closed until January 21st, an entertainment spot to host right by campus without having recruiting hosts. Still utilize campus and football building like normal. It's number 4, he said. This is Trey Lamb, the head coach of the Tulsa football team. Barstool/Hard Knocks documentary of how the portal works to energize the fan base. Live from the portal daily and weekly. Former players and donors come meet the transfers at the house. It's like Big Brother, you know?
This is
or
not
Love
going to end
Island.
well.
They got
Someone's
cameras in the corners.
They're going to sneak sorority girls into the portal house. And when I say they, I'm not talking about the players. Think the coaches are. This is going to go awful.
They're going to have cameras set up. You think they're going to interview the players after, sort of like a documentary style where they're talking about it and then you see it?
Guess so, but they're like introducing outside.
Are they only going to talk? Yeah, right. And what if the guy doesn't want to commit?
Media.
He's doing a visit. What if he doesn't want to commit?
He's like, no, I actually don't like the state of Oklahoma.
This place stinks. He could say stuff like that.
But he can say it's a bar stool, so it's not like it'll have to go through the filter of Tulsa football. So there's going to be bad stuff taken out of this. I'm not happy. I'm afraid if I'm a Tulsa football fan.
Wow. So stay tuned for that. That's going to start January 2nd. In the meantime, we will be back at it on New Year's Day, essentially, for the Orange Bowl. This has been Colin Russo and Christian Cat, the fifth quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet, right here on ESPN 106.3.
The preceding